Region 12, gabay kayo.
Session is now in. Ano? Session is in order. Majority Leader. Oh, prayer. Please stand and for a 1-minute silent prayer. Please remain standing for the Philippine National Anthem.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, kita pasisingin, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong baka, may nilang ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagtitigil, ang bituin at araw niya kailanman ay di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng maraming pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya dapat may mamahagin, magmamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Please remain standing. Success is never an accident. It is a result of hard work and right decisions. Champions are not the person who never fails, but the person who never quits. A tribute to a man Filipinos love. 24 Kobe memorabilia from Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano. May we ask our colleagues to observe a 24-second moment of silence while saying a prayer for other families lost in the tragedy and in memory of Kobe and Gianna Bryant. The tribute to Kobe is located at the back of the session hall, where the hallway of the speaker's entrance is. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we defer the calling of the roll. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there an objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I also move that we defer the approval of the journal of the previous session. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we take up the reference of business and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measures on first reading as well as resolutions and communications. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there an objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read reference of business.
Reference of business. Bills on first reading. House Bill number 6037, institutionalizing a 10% budgetary allocation of barangays for the implementation of programs, projects, activities, and Services for Senior Citizens, Representative Kimbo.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill Number 6038, granting mandatory social pension for senior citizens, Representative Kimbo.
To the Special Committee on Senior Citizen.
House Bill Number 6039, mandating banking institutions to strengthen the financial system and agricultural, fisheries, and rural development in the Philippines, Representative Salceda.
To the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
House Bill Number 6040, establishing a mechanism to enable poor Filipino families to have at least one college graduate by institutionalizing the expanded student grants in aid program for poverty alleviation, Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill Number 6041, providing a comprehensive renal replacement therapy for patients with end-stage renal disease in national, regional, and provincial government hospitals, increasing the PhilHealth package rate for renal replacement therapy of members, Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill Number 6042, establishing a grant program to provide screenings for glaucoma and to individuals determined to be at high risk of glaucoma, Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill Number 6043, creating the Solar Energy Development Center, Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Energy.
House Bill Number 6044, instituting the Former Prisoners Employment Program, Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Bill Number 6045, providing for security of tenure for all job order and contract of service workers of the government who have rendered the prescribed years of service in the national government agencies and local government units, Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation.
House Bill Number 6046, promoting agri-tourism in the Philippines, Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill Number 6047, institutionalizing the Young Farmers Program, Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill Number 6048, preserving the indigenous games of the Philippines, Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Bill Number 6049, incorporating the value of responsible, fair usage and enjoyment of social media in the curricula nationwide, Representative Varga.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill Number 6050, providing for financial relief to the victims of calamities, Representative Olivares.
To the Committee on Disaster Management.
Communications, letter dated December 18, 2019, of Attorney Rufino Margate Jr., Secretary General, Federation of Philippine Industries Incorporated, furnishing the House a copy of the FPI AR for 2018 and 2019.
To the Committee on Trade and Industry.
Letter dated January 9, 2020, of Maria Glenda E. Lim, State Auditor 5, Supervising Auditor, Auditor Groups CGS 1 and 2, Water Districts, and other CGS, standalone agencies, Regional Office Number 6, COA, furnishing the House with copies of various reports on the Mambuasaw Water District, Mambaso Capiz.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Email dated January 14, 2020, of Arsinia Sakdalan from the NAIA, submitting their fund utilization report as of December 31, 2019.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Letters dated 20 January 2020 of Janice G. Aizonzales, Deputy Director, Office of the General Counsel and Legal Services, BSP, furnishing the House with duly certified and authenticated BSP issuances.
To the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
Report on fund utilization and status of program project implementation for the quarter ended October to December 2019 of the province of Zamboanga del Sur on the LGSF Calzada Projects 2016, CMGP 2017, and the CMGP 2019, attested by Honorable Victor J.U., Provincial Governor.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Committee reports, reports number 205 and 206 of the Committees on Higher and Technical Education and Appropriations on House Bill numbers 6087 and 6088.
To the Committee on Rules.
Report number 207 of the Committee on People's Participation on House Bill number 6091.
To the Committee on Rules.
Report number 208 of the Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms on House Bill number 6095.
To the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend session.
Session suspended.
Let them come. Question part 3. Let them come. 3:30. 3:20 lang. Pero they can go back. They can go back.
Session resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Bill number 5888 under Committee Report number 181 and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read House Bill 5888.
House Bill number 5888, an act establishing the 3rd District Engineering Office in the Municipality of Mala, Province of Cotabato, and appropriating funds therefore.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Chairman of the Committee on Public Works and Highways, the Honorable Madrona, to give his sponsorship speech. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there an objection? Chair is none. The motion is approved. Representative Madrona is hereby recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt the explanatory note of that House bill as by sponsorship speech.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no members who wishes to interpolate on the author, I move that we close the period of sponsorship and debate.
Is there an objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of amendments.
Is there an objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, there being no members who wishes to introduce amendments and no committee amendments, I move that we close the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve on second reading House Bill number 5888 under Committee Report number 181. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there an objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. Those who are in favor of House Bill 5888 say aye.
Aye.
Those who are against say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill 5888 is hereby approved on second reading. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend session.
Session suspended.
was enough time naman here to set for.
Session resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, in accordance with Article 6, Section 22 of the 1987 Constitution and Rule 17, Section 124 of the Rules of the House of Representatives of the 18th Congress, and pursuant to the motion duly approved in the plenary January 28, 2020, which requests Department of Health Secretary Francisco T. Duque III to appear before the House of Representatives under the question hour to answer questions from the members of the House of Representatives on the threat of the novel coronavirus in the country and precautionary measures being undertaken by the Department of Health on this issue. I move that we open the question hour.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. The question hour is hereby declared. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we suspend the session to allow Secretary Duque, including his technical staff, access to the designated seats in the plenary.
Session suspended. Ako ba magbabasa nito? Magbabasa nito. Session resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize Department of Health Secretary Francisco T. Duque III to deliver his opening statement.
Secretary Duque is hereby recognized. Please proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, and to the Majority Floor Leader. I'd like to thank you in behalf of the Department of Health for this opportunity to present to you the latest information and updates vis-a-vis the novel coronavirus, which is technically termed as the 2019 DAS-CoV. My presentation will follow the outline as presented. First, the introduction to coronaviruses, and in particular, the novel coronavirus 2019 nCoV, the 2019 nCoV global situation, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, 2019 nCoV Philippine situation following thereafter, the virulence of the 2019 nCoV infection, and last but not least, the actions taken by your Department of Health and the advice to the public. Coronaviruses, Your Honors, refer to large family of viruses belonging to the family Coronaviridae. And they were named after the crown-like spikes on their surface, as you can see on the slide. Yung po nakikita natin doon na may mga spikes sa taas, thus earning for itself the name coronavirus. These are zoonotic viruses, meaning they are transmitted between animals and people. These viruses cause illness ranging from the common cold, which some of us here must have experienced once or more times in our lives. And this can lead as well to more severe diseases like the MERS-CoV or the Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome and the Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome or the SARS-CoV. Your Honors, the patients who contract the more serious coronavirus were shown to exhibit respiratory symptoms such as fever, cough, shortness of breath, and breathing difficulties. And in extreme cases, the infection can cause pneumonia, severe acute respiratory infection, kidney failure, and to the extreme end, even death. On December 31, 2019, the WHO alerted to several cases of pneumonia in Wuhan City, Hubei province of China. In January 7 of this year, Chinese authorities confirmed that they indeed have identified a new type of coronavirus. The novel coronavirus is a new strain that has not been previously identified in humans. As of January 27, 2020, the World Health Organization has confirmed human-to-human transmission, largely in Wuhan City and some other places in China. However, there is not enough information yet to draw a definitive conclusion about the intensity of the human-to-human transmission, full clinical features, and the original source of the outbreak. And while the development of a vaccine for the nCoV is currently underway, it may take several months to years before it can be made available to the public for use. And for those ill, no definitive treatment can be given. Supportive care and symptomatic treatment are still advised as with any viral infection. Next. As of 28 January, the total count cases is 4,593, with China 4,537 reporting the highest number of cases. And there are confirmed cases in Thailand. There you have it on the right side of your screen. Singapore, Australia, Japan, Malaysia, France, Germany, Korea, USA, Vietnam, Cambodia, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Canada. There are about 54 total number of cases outside of the whole of China. There are 106 deaths recorded out of the 5,000, or rather 4,593 cases. Hence, a case fatality ratio of 2.3%. All recorded deaths are so far from China. Next, in terms of risk level, China has been classified as very high risk. The Western Pacific region is considered high risk, while global risk has been classified as high, from moderate just 2 days ago. So this gives us an idea of how quickly this virus seems to be mutating and the transmission rate increasing by the day. Your Honors, there are 55 novel coronavirus-related health events that were reported to the Epidemiology Bureau of the DOH. A total of 27 of the 50 are categorized as patient under investigation, or PUI. All have history of travel to Wuhan City, Hubei province, China. Of the reported PUIs, 4 have been cleared and discharged, while the 5-year-old suspected case tested negative, thankfully, after the Melbourne, Australia International Reference Laboratory released its test, which yielded, again, negative. So far, there are 0 confirmed cases of nCoV in our country. This map shows the distribution of PUIs reported in the Philippines. So you can see the breakdown as flashed on the screen. And to put perspective on the nCoV against other pathogenic coronaviruses that cause severe illness, I would like to refer you to the comparison table between the SARS-CoV, the MERS-CoV, and the nCoV. Until recently, human coronaviruses receive relatively little attention due to their mild forms in humans. This, however, changed in 2002 when cases of severe atypical pneumonia were described in Guangdong, China, causing worldwide concern as diseases spread via international travel to more than 2,000 countries. The new disease became known as the Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome, or SARS, and a beta H-COVID named SARS-CoV was identified as the causative agent. Ultimately, Your Honors, classic public health measures brought the SARS pandemic to an end, but not before 8,098 individuals there, as you can see, were infected, and 774 died, with a case fatality rate of 10%. The second highest next to the MERS-CoV, which posted a 36% case fatality ratio. So, which brings me, in 2012, another highly pathogenic COVID plagued the world when the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome was recognized and MERS-CoV was identified in the sputum of a Middle Eastern man who died from respiratory failure. But unlike SARS-CoV, which rapidly spread across the globe and was contained and eliminated in relatively short order, MERS has smoldered, characterized by sporadic zoonotic transmission and limited chains of human spread. Your Honors, according to the World Health Organization, as of November 2019, MERS-CoV has caused a total of 2,494 cases and 858 deaths, the majority in Saudi Arabia. The natural reservoir of MERS-CoV is presumed to be bats. Yet, human transmission events have primarily been attributed to an intermediate host, the dromedary camel. While MERS has not caused the international panic seen with SARS, the emergence of this second, highly pathogenic zoonotic H-CoV illustrates the threat posed by this viral family. In 2017, the WHO placed SARS-CoV and MERS-CoV on its priority pathogen list, hoping to galvanize research and the development of countermeasures against COVIDs. With the emergence of the 2019 nCoV, Your Honors, we currently see similarities with SARS-CoV, such as its symptomatology and epidemiology. However, in terms of virulence, at this early stage of the disease outbreak, we see a comparatively lower case fatality rate at 2.3%. Again, there on your screen, for your better appreciation, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, we are vigilantly watching out for further developments on the knowledge regarding this novel coronavirus, and we expect iterative changes as the days pass by. Corollary, in the following table, we see the comparative virulence of the seasonal influenza virus, or the common flu, against the 2019 nCoV. And gleaning from the reports of the WHO and the CDC, we see that the global case fatality rate of nCoV against the seasonal flu at around the same time period, rather, December 2019 to January 2020, is comparatively lower than that of the latter, figuring at 2.3% versus 4.7% aggregated from all serotypes. Yan lang po, madali po ang sinasabi dito. Kung ihahambing po natin sa seasonal flu, same time period, about from December 2019 to January 2020, and compared to these emerging novel coronavirus, you still see a relatively lower case fatality ratio. And while these data shows us the facts, Your Honors, we at the DOH are not letting our guards down. In response to the threat of the 2019 nCoV, the DOH has, one, established a dedicated task force on 2019 nCoV. We issued interim guidelines on the same. We heightened the border screening or surveillance through thermal scanning and use of the health declaration card or checklist. Ito po yung yellow forms na ibinibigay sa ating po mga pumapasok na mga pasahero. We have mandated the use of decision table in evaluating sick passengers, directed triaging at the arrival area on sick passengers, ensured laboratory and hospital preparedness. We have established the 2019 nCoV surveillance for daily updates. Ngayon po, araw-araw na po, nagbibigay kami ng mga pinakahuling evidence-based and science-based reports for the media and for the general public. And of course, last but not least, we have intensified risk communication in all communications or media platforms, including, of course, the social media. Moreover, personal protective equipment are available at the Bureau of Quarantine, Centers for Health Development, and the DOH hospitals. Your DOH is also closely monitoring individuals who manifested signs of respiratory infection and has had a history of travel to China and coordinating with WHO and China Center for Disease Control for updates. The DOH reiterates that the public must practice frequent hand washing, avoid unprotected contact with farm or wild animals, practice proper cough etiquette, maintain at least 1 meter distance, and cover the mouths and sneezes with a tissue or the crook of the elbow. Avoid close contact with people showing cold or flu-like symptoms, and ensure that the food that is eaten is well cooked. Hindi pwedeng mahilaw-hilaw. Lalo na, meron po rin tayong African swine flu. Travelers with symptoms of respiratory illness either during or after travel are urged to seek medical attention immediately. All health facilities are to enhance standard infection prevention and control practices, especially in our emergency triage departments. Lastly, again, I emphasize, we must always be ready. Better ready than sorry. Again, in behalf of the DOH, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, and to the distinguished members of the House of Representatives. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. And we're ready to answer the questions from the floor. Thank you.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, in view of the limited time that we have and the importance of the subject matter, I move that we limit the time for questioning of each member to 5 minutes each. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we move now to the period of interpellation. And first to interpellate, I move that we recognize the chairwoman of the Committee on Health, the Honorable Angelina Helen Tan, for her interpellation. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Helen Tan is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, colleagues and the Honorable Secretary. Just to summarize the points I made during my privileged speech yesterday, allow me to ask the following clarificatory questions to the Secretary. The first question is, as I understand it, the novel coronavirus is genetically distinct from the common human coronaviruses, which cause seasonal acute respiratory illness. It is also genetically distinct from the two newer human coronaviruses, MERS-CoV and the SARS-CoV. May I know if we have the capability to do the definitive testing for 2019 novel coronavirus? Because as I understand, current testing is being sent to Australia. And if so, do we have resources to procure whatever is necessary? And how soon can we start testing on our own?
Okay, thank you, Madam Chairman of the Committee on Health. The Japanese counterpart of the RITM today has just brought with them the team a primer, RNA primer, which is needed to help us identify whether the novel coronavirus suspect cases, once there's throat swabs, their nasopharyngeal swabs, are submitted to RITM for testing. With the RNA primer, yes, in about 48 hours, we shall be able to set up our own capability to detect novel coronavirus and no longer need to send for confirmatory testing to Melbourne, Australia. So yes, the answer to that is yes.
So are we planning to have that equipment or whatever agents that they're using to test for coronavirus to have it placed here in RITM or any other facilities in
For the first-
government hospitals?
Yes, ma'am. For the first round of testing, we are adequately supplied. But for the, we will have to find out the volume of the supplies that have been brought by the Japanese contingent to help us precisely to do the testing ourselves and confirm it ourselves. And this will cut the turnaround time by 50%.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Secretary. There were news that came out, I think, an hour ago in different media outlets on the death of a patient under investigation in San Lazaro. Can you update us, because some of the reports are deceiving, saying that this is the first death in the Philippines of this Chinese national?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. The case that has been reported, though inaccurately, by I believe it was CNN. This patient, although satisfied the criteria for a person under investigation, as I have presented on the screen, the latest result of the tests done by both RITM and the San Lazaro Hospital, which is also a reference laboratory, which has a reference laboratory capability, is from RITM. It was positive for staff or use, and while the San Lazaro reference laboratory yielded a positive for HIV/AIDS virus for 2 testings that were conducted. But having said that, we are still awaiting for the test that will be run by the RITM, given now that we have the new RNA primer and the new reagents, so that we can say for sure and conclusively whether this could be a co-infection or there is absolutely no coronavirus as the one of the possible causes.
So just to allay the fears of our countrymen, you're confirming that this is not a coronavirus related death?
Yes, I underscore that there's nothing in the preliminary test results that would show that this death is caused by novel coronavirus.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Secretary. My next question, just in case that the NCOV enters the country, considering the speed by which it spreads across the different population, do we have the necessary infrastructure to accommodate the influx of patients just in case? Another question is mandatory reporting for these cases in place?
Yes, the answer to the first question, ma'am, is the capacities of all of the DOH retained hospitals and medical centers have been leveled up. That was the initial instructions or directive of the DOH Execom to all of our regional directors. Same directive was cascaded to all of our medical center chiefs to, in fact, specifically set aside a number of isolation rooms. Okay, so that's now very much in place. And insofar as the infrastructure is concerned, from the level of border surveillance, which is the mandate of the Bureau of Quarantine, this has been very much put in place, and also this has been heightened, in fact, to include the reinstatement of the health declaration card or the yellow form, and also the issuance of the guidelines, interim guidelines, which will change from day to day as we are updated by the WHO. We are nimble to the information stream that goes to the DOH, and we make the necessary adjustments. And also, Madam Representative, we have also put in place the surveillance systems, community surveillance. So this is not just about the border surveillance, but also the surveillance within the communities. Kasi baka ho makalusot at mapunta sa mga komunidad, maigi na po yung may kakayahan po tayo. At ang gumagawa po niyan ang ating Epidemiology Bureau, meron po tayong mga surveillance unit officers na sila po ang nakatutok, and they're in constant coordination with our frontline Bureau of Quarantine officers. And then our risk communication and community engagement, the public health advisories. I think you have come across some of them, and we are also leveling this up so that the public will be able to benefit from evidence-based, science-based information and to neutralize whatever infodemics or the epidemic of false or fake news that are being propagated by unwitting or individuals who are perhaps not aware, sufficiently informed of the latest with regard to and coronavirus, Madam Representative.
Mr. Speaker, last question in the interest of time and to give way to our our colleagues here. I was informed that yesterday you have that high-level meeting, interagency meeting. One of the concern is that the restriction on flights and the repatriation of our OFWs in China. Can you share with us what transpired in that high-level meeting?
The high-level meeting, Mr. Speaker, Madam Representative, is on the authority of the Executive Order 168, number 168, issued by then President Aquino in 2014. And this is the Emerging Infectious Disease Task Force, which consists of representatives, in fact, cabinet-level representatives from, of course, the DOH heading or chairing the task force. We have the DOJ, because of the Bureau of Immigration, is there. The DOTR, the Philippine Coast Guard, being a operating unit of the agency. Then we have the Department of Tourism. We have the DOLE. We have the DOTC, DOTR, and the DILG. We convened yesterday and arrived at a resolution to do the following. Number one is to facilitate the voluntary return of Filipinos who are currently in Wuhan City, China. Those who have manifested their desire to be repatriated to the Philippines. And we said that we will prepare. So there will be chartered flights. The Civil Aeronautics Board and the CAAP are preparing the chartered flights. They are contracting chartered flights precisely to bring in the 50 or so Filipinos who have manifested their desire to be repatriated, plus the conditionality that should they come back to the Philippines, they will be all collectively subjected to quarantine measures. Para lang po nakakasiguro tayo na hindi po sila makabalik at makapangahawa naman doon po sa ating mga kapwa Pilipino. At of course, that is of course one of the contents of the resolution. Second is of course the commitment that the DOH will provide continuous flow of evidence-based information and public health advisories. Because right now, the dilemma there is the communications barrier. The language barrier is really making it very difficult for our people to understand the local health authorities' advisories. So we intend to complement this by giving them through telemedicine, which is also being put in place. As we are talking, the telemedicine infrastructure is being prepared, Your Honor. So these are the two more important DOH-related contents of the resolution passed by the task force. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, and the Honorable Secretary for giving us time for our invitation to come here and update us on the issues or the status on the novel coronavirus. So maraming salamat po sa inyong pagdalo sa hapong ito. Thank
Ganun
you,
din
Mr.
po, maraming salamat po sa inyo. At sa pagkakataon, ibinibigay ninyo sa Department of Health upang makapagpaliwanag hinggil po sa namamayagpag na ating novel coronavirus. Maraming salamat po sa ngalan ng DOH.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to acknowledge the Honorable Lauren Legarda from the Lone District of Antique for her interpellation.
Deputy Speaker Lauren Legarda,
Thank
you
you.
are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just quick questions. May
Thank you, sir.
the Honorable Secretary Francisco Duque yield to a few questions?
Yes,
Hi, Secretary. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, yes. Certainly.
The other day, I communicated with Secretary Teddy Locsin upon the impression, or I thought that it would be the designation or the task of the Department of Foreign Affairs to decide on whether we should close our airports and seaports temporarily during the crisis, the health crisis, to any Chinese mainland tourists. And he texted me that he has shared or delegated the authority to the DOH through Secretary Duque. Your Honor, may I confirm if this is indeed accurate? And second, if it is your task to do so, are you inclined at the soonest possible time to ban first the entry of any mainland Chinese tourists while the virus is still not contained in mainland China? Just that basic question, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Madam Representative. The situation remains fluid, and certainly the task force of the DOH on the novel coronavirus meets every now and then, and in fact very frequently, to be guided by the recommendations from the WHO. They bridge the DOH to the health authorities in Wuhan city in particular, the Hubei province, and the whole of China for that matter. And certainly that's one of the possible options that we are looking at, but not at this very moment.
Okay.
The reason being, Your Honor, is we have to be very careful also about the possible repercussions of doing this in the light of the fact that the confirmed cases of coronaviruses are not limited to China, but now, in fact, in several countries, as I have shown on the slides. And if we do this, then the concerned country, and China in this case, might question why we're not doing the same for all the other countries that have reported confirmed cases of the novel coronavirus. So it's a very tricky, very difficult issue that you have raised, but certainly we commit to take this into consideration as we move on in making the necessary adjustments or revisions in our guidelines, Your Honor.
Mr. Secretary, in my understanding, then only flights from Wuhan to the Philippines has been banned. Is that correct, Mr. Secretary?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe that this is an international airport in Wuhan. So I think there are many other provinces. The Chinese nationals would need to go to one of the international airports, one of the major international airports. So now, at least for Wuhan, there's been a lockdown. The Chinese government has already restricted travel to and from Wuhan city, and I think even Hubei at this point, but subject to validation.
Since we are a heavily populated country and we are clearly incapable of handling such a health crisis should it happen in the Philippines, would it not be prudent, Mr. Secretary, to be proactive and ban temporarily any mainland Chinese tourists in any airport or port, not just Wuhan, since the coronavirus has spread to other cities in China? Again, let me not be misconstrued. I just value too much the health of the Filipino people. And 108 million people heavily populated, dikit-dikit sa mga syudad po. And we do not have the resources nor perhaps the medical know-how. We have to send some of our tests to Australia. So would it not be prudent for us? Take, for example, Subic, when the residents protested against the entry of a cruise ship bearing the mainland Chinese residents who may or may not be inflicted with the coronavirus. So this is actually not my personal belief, but I've been asked as an elected representative, not only of my province, but of even other representatives who may be shy to manifest this, or other people. And they're asking, what are you in Congress doing? So I asked Secretary Locsin, and I can show you the text of Secretary Teddy. He said, Lauren, I agree with you. You may be right. So I tried to call you the other night. I understand you're very busy. We could not communicate with each other. So I'm putting it on record on the possibility of just temporarily closing to mainland because it has spread there. I'm not saying that all others, where there are 1 or 2 victims, that we should close our tourism to those areas. But should we not close it? I recall that there is a Wuhan-Katiklan flight which was operating until last Wednesday. And your very efficient DOH personnel had to look for the Wuhan individuals who were already in Boracay vacationing and had to be retrieved from Boracay and returned back to Wuhan. Correct me if my information is inaccurate. So do we still need to do that? To allow some Chinese from Wuhan who may have gone to Shanghai or Beijing and infected some people there to come to the Philippines because we have not closed our doors and look for them in our provinces and then send them back? Would it not be more efficient that we simply just say no for the meantime until the situation has been contained in mainland China? Just a question, Mrs. I know it's very tricky. I realize there are political and diplomatic repercussions, but for me, the health of the Filipino people, especially those who may not have the resources to buy masks, to stay away from each other, if that is at stake, then we must do everything to protect our people. Secretary. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Representative. First of all, I share with you your concern for the health of the Filipino people. That is the mandate of the DOH. And in terms of the preparedness of the DOH to deal with this challenge, as I have said, we have scaled up, we have leveled up our border surveillance. Our quarantine officers are well equipped to make sure that patients who will be classified as persons under investigation will be isolated. Consequently, they will be subjected to further evaluation.
Thank you.
And the specimens, the collection will be sent to the reference lab, the RITM, which is the primary laboratory that does the testing. The second level would be the Regional Epidemiology and Surveillance Unit. The mechanism is also in place. So we've leveled up across the spectrum of the health system that is to respond to the event even when the coronavirus enters the country. But let me reassure you, Your Honor, that we will always bear in mind this very well meaning recommendation that you have so eloquently articulated. And certainly we will think of it. We will always consider this in the next task force meetings, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mrs. Secretary. Mr. Speaker, my last question, Mr. Speaker, is I have read in reports in the news that some of the blood tests have been sent to Australia, and I would imagine that our private hospitals or the DOH or is it the RITM that does the processing of the results of the blood test, are the Philippine authorities in health under DOH, do we have the equipment, the personnel to assess immediately whether it is coronavirus, or are the technology and the equipment not available in the Philippines under DOH or RITM or any agency of DOH? And if so, what is needed so that in the NEP of 2021, which you're doing now, kindly put all the trainings for your personnel, all the equipment needed under DOH, under RITM, is that correct, the RITM?
All right.
That's the one that's doing it, right? Is there any other agency that is equipped with that? And why are we sending the results to Australia yet to confirm or verify if it is coronavirus? Are we incapable of knowing the results here in our medical facilities, Mr.
Yes.
Speaker?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Madam Representative, the testing capability wasn't available until today. Because Japan, as I have said earlier, has brought the contingent from Japan, which is the RITM counterpart, has arrived this morning with the RNA primer and the reagents needed to identify the novel coronavirus in persons under investigation. And by Friday, I was assured by the Executive Director of RITM that the setup will be ready and they will be testing the specimens once submitted to them. So that way, the need for an international confirmatory testing will no longer be necessary.
When do we know? Last question. When do we know whether the 27 is just flu or coronavirus, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Speaker?
Pardon me?
How do we confirm whether the 27 under investigation is
yes.
actually...
The specimens, these are throat swabs, oropharyngeal, nasopharyngeal swabs. Part of the protocol, testing protocol, is automatically sending these specimens to the RITM, and they do an initial testing. It's a little bit technical. My apologies. The RITM initially runs the FTD-33 test. This is a test for several viruses and bacteria, some other microbes. But unfortunately, that initial testing capability cannot identify specifically the novel coronavirus. It can identify the pan-coronavirus, which is non-specific. And that should trigger, therefore, a higher level testing, which is going to be more definitive for the novel coronavirus. And like I have said, Your Honor, this will now be available by Friday, Your Honor. But we will, of course, certainly submit to you. I have already been given an indicative budget that will support us mount a more effective response to this emerging infectious disease.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and Mr. Secretary. Thank you.
Okay.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to acknowledge the Honorable Jose Atienza Jr. of Buhay Party List.
Honorable Atienza is hereby recognized.
Maraming salamat po. Mr. Secretary, thank you for acceding to come here and help us be informed more accurately so that our people will also be informed at hindi sila matatakot na lamang nang wala kaming kasagutan. My first question is, as you presented it, and as we know it, the symptoms of the coronavirus strain today are very similar to that of the ordinary flu. Is that right or wrong?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there any difference between the two that we can immediately identify coronavirus yan? Pag-ingatan natin. I had a child who got sick with flu the past week. Siyempre, kabadong-kabado lahat ng mga pamilya. Ako hindi ako natakot. Sabi ko, flu yan eh, flu. The flu. And your figures show that. So is there any discernible difference between the symptoms of ordinary flu and coronavirus?
Doon po sa mga katulad natin na maayos po ang ating kalusugan, yung pong ating kakayahan, labanan, itong... kasi kahit na po yung ordinaryong coronavirus, sa atin kaya natin yan. After a few days, mawawala. Self-limiting. Pero sa mga may mga coexisting medical conditions, diabetes, hypertension, cancer, yan po kahit na yung mga hindi mabigat na coronavirus ay makapagdudulot ng seryoso o grabeng komplikasyon. Pero dito po sa ngayon, ang tama po kayo, lahat ng signs and symptoms almost are similar except that meron pong severe acute respiratory infection propensity, ito pong novel coronavirus, as evidenced by the cases that have been managed in the different hospitals in Wuhan City.
So at this point, wala pong unmistakable and unquestionable symptom that we should look for in a suspected coronavirus victim.
Wala po. Wala pong malinaw na
So therefore, yung flu at yung coronavirus are almost equally the same.
Opo, based on what we have projected on the slide, Your Honor.
Yan po yung importante yan para ang ating mga mamamayan ay hindi takot, hindi stressed, at hindi sila matatarantang bumili ng mask na ngayon ay out of stock na. Some people are making a lot of money, incidentally, for this particular situation. And according to your figures, in a period from 2019 up to 2020, out of 44,000 cases of flu, 7,000 died. Tama po ba yung inyong naalala kong figure?
Tama po kayo. I'm just double checking.
At yung figure natin sa coronavirus, kulang-kulang 5,000, ay 106 lang ang namatay so far. Tama rin po yun.
Tama po yun.
Sa makatuwid, ang laki ng threat, banta sa buhay ng trangkaso, yung kilala nating flu, influenza, or you may want to call it any other name. 7% out of 44,000 who got it died in the process. But those suspected, or maybe in some quarters affirmed, to be coronavirus victims, 106 lang ang namatay. So why are we so rattled about this issue? Why are we so heated? Why is the Philippines, for that matter, nawala tayo ni not even one case is confirmed today? Bakit tayo natataranta? Bakit natin tinataranta ang ating mga tao? I wouldn't blame the Department of Health to quietly do your job, guard against the spread of your suspected virus, but seeing, hearing, and nothing else on television except this particular issue, while our poor are dying of ordinary trangkaso, tuberculosis, cancer. Yung problema ng mga mahihirap, yun ang ating pag-usapan palagay ko ngayon sa Kongreso. Kung ano ang kailangan para ang TB ay hindi na po kumitil ng buhay ng Pilipino. Coronavirus, mag-ingat na lang tayo. Dapat itinuturo talaga yung proper sanitation. Hindi naman dahil sa meron lamang banta. Tama po ba yung aking assumption? Kaya, Mr. Secretary, please help us explain this to our people.
Tama po yung inyo pong pagkakaintindi nitong sitwasyon na ito. Ang problema lang po, kasi bago nga po ito. So hanggang ngayon, even the WHO sees too many blind spots about this virus. And because it's novel, we do not know to what extent the mutation of this virus will reach. And so it's better that we are prepared. We prepare for the worst, hope for the best, so to speak. So yun lang po yun. Kaya po tinututukan natin ito. Katuwang po natin ng World Health Organization na siya po nagmamatsyag kung ano ba yung mga developments patungkol sa virus na ito. Hindi lamang po sa loob ng China, kundi sa labas ng China sa marami na pong mga bansa. At sana po sa atin hindi makapasok. Katulad po ng MERS-CoV kung nagkaroon man kakaunti in 2014 and 2015. Ang SARS naman nagkaroon din tayo in 2003, but it was an imported SARS. No community transmission.
Salamat po sa inyong sagot. Ako'y magmumungkahi lang sapagkat kayo kilala kong personal. Maganda siguro, dagdagan ninyo yung inyong mga advisory. Ang Pilipino ay malakas ang katawan. Hindi tayo tinamaan ng SARS. Hindi tayo tinamaan ng MERS-CoV. Maraming sakit na hindi dumadapo rito. Pero yung sakit na nandito na, yun ang ating pag-ingatan. Pwede naman pag-ingatan yung TB. Pwede naman pag-ingatan yung mga ibang sakit na pumapatay ng tao. Siguro dadagdagan lang ninyo na magkaroon kayo ng tiwala na hindi ito papatay sa inyo ngayon o bukas. Sapagkat hindi pa namin alam hanggang ngayon. Wala pa nga ako may sagot kay Congressman Atienza. Para po naman pumanatag ang ating bayan, ang ating mga tahanan, at pag nagkaroon ng trangkaso ang isang miyembro ng pamilya, hindi po natataranta. Katulad po ngayon. Dahil maraming mga pangyayari na hindi natin maipaliwanag. And one day, a vaccine, maybe soon, will be discovered, and people will again spend billions of pesos all over the world. We may all be being stampeded by some people here, by some institutional greed, dahil hindi natin talagang alam kung ano ang punot dulo ng lahat na ito. Pwedeng gawa ito ng tao, pwede itong gawa ng mga makapangyarihang bansa, biktima tayong lahat. Thank you for your presence.
Salamat din po.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to acknowledge the Honorable Senior Deputy Minority Leader, the Honorable Janet Garin from the 1st District of Iloilo.
Honorable Janet Garin is hereby recognized.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, of course, the DOH family and the RITM family under the able leadership of Secretary Guduque. Magandang hapon po sa lahat.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Secretary, earlier I heard a colleague who was somehow afraid, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard the words, nakakatakot because we are incapable. We don't have the experts, we don't have the know-how, and we probably are not equipped to answer a situation that China is facing now. Do you confirm or deny this statement?
Your Honor, we are ready in terms of the infrastructure and the technical capability is available, the RITM and its sub-national laboratories. So I think at this point, there's nothing to doubt the capability of the DOH in mounting an effective response to this emerging coronavirus.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished Secretary, would you agree with me if we boast and say that in fact not only in the Philippines, but even in research centers all over the world, and even in the World Health Organization, there are a lot of Filipino experts and Filipino scientists. Totoo po ba ito o hindi?
Totoo po yan. And we stand proud of our people in that regard.
Yeah, thank you for that, Mr. Speaker. Uulitin ko lang po, hindi po tayo dapat mabahala dahil hindi po incapable ang Pilipinas. Marami po tayong eksperto, marami po ang know-how, and we are fully equipped We have been through SARS. That was a lot scary because during SARS, wala pong alam ang mga tao dito at wala tayong gamit. When we had MERS-CoV, we were partially equipped, and when we had Ebola, we were almost fully equipped. And after Ebola, now that nCoV 2019 is here, we actually have RITM, whose laboratory is already a biosafety level 3 laboratory. Ang ibig po natin sabihin, andyan na po yung mga ospital, andyan po yung mga gamit, andyan po yung mga tao. Every time walang outbreak, walang emerging infectious disease, sarado po yun. Pero pagka merong sakit na nangyayari, all it triggers is one push at the fingertip of the Secretary of Health. Am I right, Mr. Speaker, Distinguished Secretary?
Certainly, Your Honor.
So sinasabi niyo po na lahat ito are in place. Kailangan lang with a push button, when you do the command, when you call a command conference, everybody moves and they are continuously trained and continuously updated. Tama po.
Yes, Your Honor. That's the reason why we have this command conference today and constantly in close coordination with all of our regional offices and DOH-retained hospitals and medical centers.
Mr. Speaker, kalimitan po pagka merong sakit na ganito, ang agad-agad na sinasabi, the Department of Health transforms into a SWAN. May the Honorable Secretary expound on this.
Ano ba yung SWAN?
SWAN. Ano yung SWAN? Itik. SWAN. SWAN.
I'm not aware of the literal or the figurative.
Yeah, okay.
the
Mr.
SWAN.
Speaker, Honorable Secretary, the reason why the Philippines has been called the SWAN, because every time there is an emerging infectious disease, the whole DOH family would appear so calm at the outside, but severely paddling below because we are extremely prepared. Kaya minsan, kaya po ganun ang nilalabas because while all the experts prepare sa baba, paddling for survival and in preparation, preempting every move and every transmission, hindi naman po pwede na bawat galaw nila sabihin nila sa tao, lalo na kapag ikay hindi kasama dun sa pag-aaral dahil baka ikaw ay matakot. Tama po ba ito?
Tama po. I think that's a way of characterizing the DOH. We have very hardworking professional civil servants quietly doing their jobs. But they're dedicated, they're committed, and
So
they're
ibig
technically
sabihin, Mr.
proficient.
Speaker, Honorable Secretary, marami ang ginagawa sa ilalim na hindi nakikita sa taas because the preparation is done silently but efficiently.
Tama po kayo,
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Thank you, Secretary. Mr. Speaker, allow me to commend Secretary Duque and the DOH family for seeking the guidance of the World Health Organization. To again reiterate, WHO is the authority, has a convening power, has a global coordinating mandate when it comes to health, and supposedly is objective in its decision-making. So the update on situations like this and the guidance, direction, and response is best taken from the World Health Organization in Geneva, not in the regional or the country level, to ensure the integrity of information and avoid fake news. And as you understand, you're nodding, and I know you're very much aware of this, even the World Health Organization approach is one of a coordinated response to the situation. One message, one action, one decision. Would you affirm this, Mr. Secretary, distinguished speaker?
Yes, certainly, Your Honor.
Dagdag po, Mr. Speaker, kanina may mga hinaing at may pananako, may natatakot yung iba. Baka daw po nung binawasan ang budget ng Department of Health, hindi magawa ng ospital, hindi malagyan ng mga laboratorio, at hindi natin masugpo ang sitwasyon na ito. However, Mr. Speaker, distinguished Secretary, as I have been part of your family before, I was with the RITM family when we pushed, initiated, bidded out, and started the construction of an RITM Biosafety Laboratory Level 3. Does the Secretary confirm this?
Yes, Your Honor. It continues to operate.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished Honorable Secretary, pwede po bang malaman ng ating mga kongresista at ng sambayan ng Pilipino, ano po ba ang ibig sabihin ng Biosafety Laboratory Level 3?
It's a bit technical, Your Honor, Mr. Speaker. I'm just...
Would you allow me to laymanize it?
Sure, but if you do, as you've been very much a part of the RITM family, you'd be in a much authoritative position to characterize the biosafety level 3.
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, a BSL, a Biosafety Laboratory Level 3 at the Research Institute of Tropical Medicine is actually the extreme preparation para kapag merong mga virus o mga sakit na hindi pa kilala, meron tayong kakayahan na makilala at sugpuin ito. At meron tayong kakayahan na gumapang at umaksyon agad. Yan po ang ibig sabihin. This laboratory was not present during the time of SARS, MERS-CoV, and Ebola. Pero ito ang naging basihan. Ano po bang ibig sabihin nito? Kailangan ba itong dagdagan? Kasi marami po ang nananawagan, Mr. Secretary, na baka pwedeng dagdagan yung mga BSL-3. But the problem here is that is a very expensive laboratory to maintain. We do not need a budget to create another laboratory because it might end up as a white elephant. And the reason, Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, na kailangan pang ipadala sa Australia at tayo'y naghihintay, it is not because we are not capable. We are capable as Filipinos. We have more experts than the other countries. However, kailangan po ng kontrol. Kailangan ng kontrol dahil ito bagong virus. And the control madaling ginagawa at pinapadala sa mga bansa na may kakayanan. And that is why when the control arrived last night or this morning, we can establish it in 48 hours. That is how prepared we are. That is how prepared Secretary Duque and the DOH family is. Do you affirm this, Secretary? So ang hinihintay natin is not really a machine na iniisip natin magko-construct. It's a control. Because when you test for something, meron ka palaging control. Tingnan nyo yung laboratory results nyo. Cholesterol, merong control, merong result. Kasi kung wala kang control, hindi mo masabi kung talaga bang tama o hindi ang iyong resulta. Tama po ba ito, Secretary?
Tama po kayo. In fact, I just would like to add very briefly that certainly it is very expensive to maintain the operation of a biosafety lab level 3. In fact, I was told you need 3 million monthly at the minimum just to
please
keep
reiterate,
this.
Secretary, how much is it?
It's 3 million pesos a month.
Only
that
for
is
the
minimum.
maintenance.
While it's not being put to full use, you need to maintain it because the climate control, the filtration mechanisms that have to be ensured are functional. So this is what it is. And so you're right, Madam Representative.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Another issue that has been flooding the media, and we hear a lot of people na parang nangangapa sila, na natatakot sila. Bakit ba yung WHO hindi agad-agad nagdeklara ng public health emergency of international concern? Will the Honorable Secretary, Mr. Speaker, educate the public what does a declaration of a public health emergency of international concern means? What are its implications?
Well, it is a matter of fact that the WHO, which convened Thursday of last week, were deciding whether they would declare a public health emergency of international concern with respect to the novel coronavirus. But the data presented to them, they concluded, at least for that particular meeting, that it would be not prudent to declare a global health emergency because of the following information or data that have been gathered or collected from the ground. And number one is they're saying that of all the infected cases reported, majority were of the mild form of the coronavirus clinical manifestation. Number two, that less than, I think only about 21% has manifested or have manifested severe clinical symptoms, and that consistently the case fatality rate has just been hovering between 2 and 3.5%. So they will convene depending on, again, how quickly this virus continues to mutate and to what extent it will do so. Nobody knows for sure, but again, they are prepared to convene 10 days from the last time of their meeting.
In other words, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Secretary, what you are saying is that declaration made by WHO for diseases that are classified as public health emergency of international concern is based on the International Health Regulations of 2005. And Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, dagdag ko na lang po, ano po bang ibig sabihin nito? Ang ibig po sabihin nito is when they declare, it will be a trigger for all countries, whether affected or not, to spend money and contribute. Meaning to say, yung declaration does not have something to do na hindi inaasikaso. Hindi dinedeclare kasi hindi tayo dapat magsayang ng pera kung wala namang kailangan. Is that right, Mr. Secretary?
Precisely, Madam Representative.
Mr. Secretary, has the index case been identified for novel coronavirus?
In the Philippines?
No, in China, in Wuhan. The
No.
index case.
I don't think so. The beginning case where it came from.
I mean, index case actually is yung pinakaunang kaso. It's usually
right.
established by WHO. Of course, WHO courses their information through you. And the identification of an index case is actually very important kasi kung maraming natatakot at kung alam mo ng index case, at least na-hurdle mo na step 1. So we would like to know if an index case has already been identified from your discussions with WHO.
That's not clear, Your Honor.
Index case, like if we talk about Ebola, the index case was the child, yung unang napasukan from the animal to human. So in this case, has the index case been identified?
There has been no report based on the information given to me by our experts, the EB and the RIC.
It has been identified,
Yes.
sir?
Wala pa hong index case identified by China to the WHO.
Okay, so there is no index case yet. Okay, mali ang sinasabi na yung index case ando dun sa market. Wala yon, hindi pa yon. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Secretary, has there been asymptomatic cases? Ibig sabihin, may mga pasyente po ba walang sintomas pero nagpositibo? I'm not referring to the Philippines, I'm referring to the global situation para po mapanatag yung kalooban ng ating mga kababayan.
That is not clear, Your Honor. That's why we are awaiting. In fact, the latest communications from the WHO is that although they have received reports of people who might possibly be infectious despite their not being symptomatic, is a cause for concern. However, the WHO says at the latest that there is no science to prove at this point that there has been a case proved to be positive and yet asymptomatic.
Yeah,
So we are
let me
awaiting.
categorically state it, Honorable Secretary. Ang kinakatakutan po ng mga tao, kasi lumabas yung salita na maski walang sintomas, pwede ka nang makapanghawa. And that is where all this fear is emanating. Kaya nagsuspend ng mga pasok. And I believe this is coming from the case in Germany where the confirmed case actually came from a patient from China who is asymptomatic. Tama po ba yun?
There has been that report, Your Honor.
Yeah. But Mr. Speaker, distinguished Secretary, Kaya po natatakot ang tao na baka daw yung mga walang sintomas nakakapanghawa. Kaya dito nag-start ang lahat ng panic. But can the Honorable Secretary categorically delineate theory versus proven science with regards to asymptomatic transmission?
I categorically state that the WHO has not found scientific evidence to support such a theory or a hypothesis. So we have to wait as the situation is fluid,
Yes,
Madam.
that's a very important response, Honorable Secretary. Ang ibig po sabihin ni Secretary Duque, may mga pagdududa. Kasi sa siyensya po, yan ang theory. Pagka may nahawa, nagpositibo, ang pinanggalingan walang sintomas, by theory, you are expecting asymptomatic transmission. Na walang sintomas, nakakahawa ka. That remains a theory. If that is duplicated, because this is only one case in Germany, if that is duplicated in other countries, then that is the time na dapat magpanik tayo. So, Honorable Secretary, may we request you that you reiterate all these lines, laymanizing this para mawala ang takot. Last question, Your Honor. Honorable Secretary, earlier I was at CNN, and the anchor told me that DOH and some officers advised to let the people wear masks once and for all to cut this confusion. Are you recommending the usage of surgical masks in the Philippines or not?
No, we don't. We never said that, Your Honor. What we were saying is, if you have symptoms of coughs, colds, your fever, it's safe. It's very considerate for one who feels these symptoms to cover with a surgical mask. And as you can see, I came here and I've been going around with maskless. So that's it. We never said that.
Yeah, ibig sabihin, hindi epektibo yung surgical mask, kaya nga surgical mask, ginagamit yan sa loob ng operating room. And Mr. Secretary, I know I'm running out of time, but because for public health purposes, may you appraise the honorable members of Congress and the general public, if you are using a surgical mask, what is the maximum number of hours that you can use it, and how do you dispose of it?
Well, the surgical mask can be used for to the limit about 8 hours a day, and then after that you need to, once it's soiled and has been saturated, you have to dispose of it properly, that is.
And what is the risk of using surgical mask vis-a-vis the transmission of novel coronavirus?
Assuming you have the novel coronavirus, the correct or appropriate mask is the N95, more than the surgical mask.
Yeah, thank you for that, Honorable Secretary. But what is the risk? Ano po ba ang danger na kapag tayo ay surgical mask, tapos may novel coronavirus, ano ang kadelikado doon? Mr. Speaker, because we're running out of time, let me answer the question. Napakahirap po kapag ikaw ay nagsisurgical mask na wala namang epekto against the novel coronavirus. Because you have a tendency to keep on touching the mask. So kung nahawakan mo yung virus, novel coronavirus, somewhere, bumahin si Congressman Remulla, kunyari may virus, nahawakan ko, adjust ng mask, mahahawa ako. You create a venue by which you keep on touching your face, unprotected because the mask doesn't have protection, with unclean hands. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last request lang. Honorable Secretary, earlier, the DOH had press conferences. It pains us to see that hospitals are being mentioned. Moving forward, can we have the assurance that from now on, no hospitals, whatever, even for PUIs or other suspected patients, should be announced?
Sorry, pardon me again, Madam.
Can you give us the assurance that anybody in the department or anybody involved in the press conferences should refrain from mentioning the hospitals where the patients, because earlier there was a press conference that, not today, I think the previous day, San Lazaro was mentioned. So nagsumunod yung ibang mga generators of fake news, and they kept on mentioning the hospitals to the detriment of public health, because by protocol, any patient that is managed, the hospitals are never mentioned because it does more harm than good. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Secretary.
Thank you, Madam Representative.
Majority Leader.
Ang tagal mo. Pagalingan kayo.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Franz Castro of the Bayan Muna Party List.
Honorable Franz Castro is hereby
Salamat.
recognized.
Salamat, Mr. Speaker. Mga practical question lang ito, Secretary Duque, para mas maintindihan ng ating mga mamamayan. So, kung sinasabi natin kanina, yung flu, yung fever, yung cough, yung panghihina ng katawan, difficulty of breathing, ito yung common na mga symptoms. So, ang tanong, Mr. Speaker, Secretary, ano yung kakaiba? Para, alimbawa ako, meron ako nitong lahat ng ito, na magdidetermine na pupunta na po ako sa ospital dahil may ganito, doon sa respective na sinasabi niyong ospital. Ano yung pagkakaiba nito doon sa iba pa nating mga, sa common na mga flu, at saka yung MERS-CoV, at saka iba pa po. Alam po para maintindihan.
Salamat po, ma'am. Batay po sa mga kasong mga pinangasiwa sa Wuhan, China, sa mga ospital, ay ang coronavirus, maliban po sa ubo, sa sipon, sa lagnat, ito po ay pwede magdulot ng kakapusan sa paghinga o sa mahirap na paghihinga o difficulty of breathing. Sunod po rito ay posibleng humantong sa pneumonia at sa severe acute respiratory infection. At pwede pong magkaroon ng komplikasyon doon din po sa kidneys, sa bato, at pwede pong mamatay din ang pasyente. At lalo na po, ang napansin nila ay kadalasan po ito yung mga coexisting medical conditions. No? May cancer, may...
So kapag naramdaman na po ito, ito na po yung time na yung isang tao kung pwede na pumunta sa ospital.
sana wag na pong antayin na...
Kaya nga po, ano nga po yung sinasabi nating time na dapat na?
Yung time mo, pagka mga nagkakaroon na ho ng paghirap ng hinga, shortness of breath, ay dapat yan po ay dinatid.
Sige. Sinasabi natin, Mr. Speaker, Secretary, na dapat handa tayo. Kasi to prevent the disease, dapat ready and handa po ang DOH. So sinasabi natin may 2 ospital lang. Paano kung yung merong infected na tao galing sa Mindanao, galing sa Visayas? And you said here, umiwas daw po sa mga farm animals. Alam naman natin 80% ay nasa agrikultura. At yung ating ospital ay yung RITM lang at saka yung San Lazaro. So gaano capacitated ba yung mga rural hospitals natin doon sa Mindanao, sa Visayas, just in case na nandoon yung virus o magkaroon tayo ng person affected nun?
Meron po tayong subnational laboratories. Ito po yung 6 na emerging and re-emerging infectious disease referral hospitals and 5 subnational laboratories na sa kasalukuyan po, dahil dumating nga po yung primer doon para sa novel coronavirus na andun po sa RITM, ay kami kukuha pa ng sapat na bilang para mabigyan o ma-distribute dito sa mga subnational laboratories.
So meron na po, kompleto po tayo sa Mindanao at saka sa Visayas?
May kasama po sa Mindanao ito. Isa.
Kasi bukas na bukas po yung ating mga...
2 po sa Mindanao, Madam Representative.
Okay, so meron po ba tayong enough na budget para dyan? So by the
far,
way,
meron
magkano
pa.
po ba yung ginastos natin doon sa Australia? Yung pagpapatest?
Maliit lang ho yun. We can give you the cost. How much was... Hindi, ang tanong nyo po ay kung magkano ginastos sa Australia, yung reference laboratory. Wala ho kaming datos right now, but that is not really substantial, Your Honor.
Okay.
But however, ang sub-allotment na binigay po natin sa mga referral labs and hospitals ay ang total po 5 million.
Okay, so ina-assure nyo po, ay magkano po ba yung total budget natin para dito sa mga infectious diseases? Kasi hindi lang naman itong coronavirus yung pinaghahandaan natin. So total po para sa budget natin ng 2020. So sapat po ba ito doon sa preparedness and prevention and readiness?
Ito pong readiness and the preparations, budgetary support will be about 45 million ang requirement.
So okay na po ito.
Okay
Sapat na
naman
po ito.
Sa-
Okay, so yun lang po Mr. Speaker. Thank you po Mr. Secretary. So mahalaga lang po dito no yung preparedness natin tsaka yung sa prevention.
Mr. Speaker, there being no other member who wishes to ask questions of the Secretary, I move that we close the question hour.
Are there any objections? If none, Mr. Secretary, in behalf of the 18th Congress and the representatives of the people, we want to thank you for coming here during question hour. It is very enlightening to hear you and to have a DOH that's very proactive. And it is our pleasure that this is a joint initiative of the executive and the legislative body. So please let us know whether it is the budget requirements or any legislation or even the use of our individual influence in our district that may help you. And I'd like to thank the men and women of the Department of Health for the work you're doing, the DFA, whose USEC and ASECs are also here today. And you will also have our prayers. We know that some of these things are too unpredictable, too many variables, too many moving parts, but through God's grace, through your hard work and through prayers, we can keep the country safe. So, Sec, thank you very much.
Ours is the gratitude and appreciation to the House of Representatives for this opportunity for us to present to you this latest information and updates on the novel coronavirus. And rest assured, sir, we will do our job to the best of our abilities. And in case we need additional budgets, I'll be the first one to visit you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Majority Leader.
Speaker, move to suspend the session so that we can greet and thank our good Secretary and the Department of Health officials.
Session suspended.
Secretary.
May I request the members of the House, the Good Secretary and the Speaker will have a photo ops in the front of our plenary. May I request the members to please join us.
Wait. Session resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we call the roll of the honorable members. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
There is no objection. The chair is none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is ordered to call the roll.
Roll call of members of Honorable Congressmen and Congresswomen. Abante, Abaya, Abellanosa, Abo, Abuek Saldivar, Abunda, Acop, Acosta, Acosta Alba, Adjong, Advincula, Agabas, Agaraw, Aglipay, Aguinaldo, Albano, Almario, Alonte, Alvarez France, Alvarez Senaro, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amantimatba, Amatong, Andaya, Angara, Aragones, Arbizon, Arenas, Arroyo, Atienza, Aumentado, Babasa, Bagatsing, Balindong, Banyas Nograles, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Barzaga, Bascog, Bautista, Bautista Bandigan, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Biason, Billones, Biron, Bolilla, Bondoc, Bordado, Bravo, Prosas, Bulot, Bustos, Kabatbat, Kabuchan, Cabredo, Cagas, Calderon, Calixto, Caminero, Campus, Canama, Cawagdan, Cari, Castelo, Castro Franz, Castro Predenil, Cayetano Alan Peter, Cayetano Maria Arne, Celeste, Chato, Chepeco, Chungalao, Co Angelica, Co Elizalde, Co Juanco, Coliantes, Crisologo, Cua, Quaresma, Cueva, Gulyamat, Dagook, Dalipe, Dalog, Datol, Daza, De Jesus, De Venecia, Defensor Lawrence, Defensor Michael, Del Mar, De Los Santos, De Loso Montalia, Di Mapuro Abdullah, Di Mapuro Muhammad Khalid, Tuabit, Duhali, Duterte, Di Paustini Ino, Di Paustino Michael, Di Ian Paul, Ebcas, Icleo, Ilago, Inverga, Irize, Irigel, Ermita Buhain, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Pariñas Ria, Pariñas Rudes Zizar, Fernandez, Fernando, Ferrer Juliet, Ferrer Luis, Flores, Fortun, Fortuno, Frasco, Fuentevilla, Gaite, Garbin, Garcia Jose Enrique, Garcia Pablo Chan, Garcia Vincent, Garin Janet, Garin Sharon, Gasataya, Gatchalian, Gato, Heron, Go Ed, Go Mark, Gonzaga, Gonzales Aurelio, Gonzales Neptali, Gonzales Carlo, Goreseta, Gico, Gulyas, Guya, Haresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera D, Hofer, Alosos, Javier, Jimenez, Co Elisa, Co Wilton, Konghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lacson Noel, Lagman, Lagon, Lara, Lazatin, Lichon, Ligarda, Lim, Lim Kaichong, Lopez, Loyola, Lusotan, Macapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Mangawang, Mangudadatu, Marcoleta, Mariano Hernandez, Mariño, Marquez, Martinez, Matba, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Momo, Natividad Nagaño, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles Jericho, Nograles Juan Fidel, Nolasco, Duñez Malañaon, Uaminal, Olivares, Ong Jose, Ong Ronnie, Ortega, Juanyo Dizon, Pacquiao Alberto, Pacquiao Rogelio, Padiernos, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panotes, Peña, Pichay, Pimentel, Peneda, Plaza, Puno, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramirez Sato, Ramos, Remulla, Revilla, Reyes, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez, Roman, Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand, Romualdez Yedemarie, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Sanchez, Sangkopan, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Saulog, Savillano, Siao, Silverio, Singson, Singson Mihan, Sensuat, Swansing Estrelleta, Swansing Coracio, Suarez Aleta, Suarez David, Suntay, si Alvarado, Taduran, Talyado, Tan Bunting, Tan Alisa, Sheena, Tan Angelina, Tan Samir, Tan Sherry Ann, Tan Sherny, Pihada, Tevez Arnolfo, Tevez Jose, Chanco, Tolentino, Torres Gomez, Tulfo, Tupas, Tutor, P. Alan, P. Diego, Umali Alfonso, Umali Maria Victoria, Unabia, Ungab, Uy Juliet, Uy Rolando, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Viloso, Vergara, Villa, Villafuerte, Villanueva Eduardo, Villanueva Noel, Villar, Villarreal Suarez, Villarica, Biolago, Yap Eric, Yap Victor, Yu, Zamora Ronaldo, Zamora Waikurat, Zarate, Subiri. Mr. Speaker, the roll call shows that 218 members responded to the call.
With 218 members present, the chair declares a quorum. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve Journal Number 35, dated January 27, 2020.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, may I request that we recognize the guests of Honorable Sarah Jane Ilago of Kabayan Party List, the grade 12 students from La Salle College, Antipolo, led by Miss Teacher Reina Bihara.
May the guests of Representative Ilago please stand to be recognized. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may I also request for the recognition of the guests of Honorable Lolita Karen Javier, Her guests are from the province of Leyte, Ms. Eugenia Polidario, Ms. Evelyn Losico, and Mr. Eugene Ramos.
May the guest of Honorable Abiar please stand to be recognized. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Resolution number 423 under Committee Report 132 and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read House Bill 423.
House Resolution 423, resolution commending Baao Parish Multipurpose Cooperative for its exceptional performance and lasting commitment as a partner for economic growth and sustainable development in the countryside.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt House Resolution number 423 under Committee Report 132. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Resolution number 425 under Committee Report 134 and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read House Resolution 425.
House Resolution 425, resolution commending Barbaza Multipurpose Cooperative for its outstanding achievements and leadership as a cooperative for its significant role and contribution to cooperative development.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve House Resolution number 425. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there an objection? The chair is none. The House Resolution 425 is hereby approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Resolution number 424 under Committee Report 135 and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary General is directed to read House Resolution 424.
House Resolution 424, resolution commending the Mindanao Alliance of Self-Help Societies, Southern Philippines, Educational Cooperative Center, Cooperative Development Center for spearheading economic progress and alleviating poverty in Mindanao.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt House Resolution number 424 under Committee Report 135. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there an objection? The chair is none. House Resolution 424 is hereby approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Resolution number 510 under Committee Report 136 and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary General is hereby directed to read House Resolution 510.
House Resolution 510, resolution commending Santa Cruz Savings and Development Cooperative for its remarkable contribution towards sustainable development and inclusive growth in the countryside.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt House Resolution number 510 under Committee Report 136. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there an objection? The chair is none. House Resolution 510 is hereby approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Resolution number 630 under Committee Report 168 and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary General is hereby directed to read House Resolution 630.
House Resolution 630, resolution urging the Department of Foreign Affairs to establish a consular office in the city of Calbayog, province of Samar.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt House Resolution number 630 under Committee Report 168. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. House Resolution 630 is hereby adopted.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Resolution number 631 under Committee Report 169 and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary General is directed to read House Resolution 631.
House Resolution 631, resolution urging the Department of Foreign Affairs to establish a consular office in the city of San Jose del Monte, province of Bulacan.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt House Resolution number 631 under Committee Report number 169. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. House Resolution 631 is hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Resolution number 632 under Committee Report Number 170, and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary General is hereby directed to read the House Resolution 632.
House Resolution 632, resolution urging the Department of Foreign Affairs to establish a consular office in the municipality of Bagalon, province of Pangasinan.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt House Resolution Number 632 under Committee Report Number 170. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. House Resolution 632 is hereby adopted.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Resolution Number 633 under Committee Report Number 171 and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the said measure. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary General is hereby directed to read House Resolution 633.
House Resolution 633, resolution urging the Department of Foreign Affairs to establish a consular office in the city of Kadipawan, province of Cotabato.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt House Resolution Number 633 under Committee Report Number 171. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. House Resolution 633 is hereby adopted.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Resolution Number 634 under Committee Report 172 and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the said measure. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary General is hereby directed to read House Resolution 634.
House Resolution 634, resolution urging the Department of Foreign Affairs to establish a consular office in the city of Vigan, province of Ilocos Sur.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt House Resolution Number 634 under Committee Report Number 172. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. House Resolution 634 is hereby adopted. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Bill Number 5989 under Committee Report Number 200 and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The Secretary General is hereby directed to read House Bill 5989.
House Bill number 5989, an act creating the Department of Disaster Resilience, defining its mandate, powers, and functions, and appropriating funds therefor.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the chairwoman of the Committee on Disaster Management, the Honorable Representative Lucy Torres Gomez, to deliver the sponsorship speech on the measure. So moved,
Honorable
Mr. Speaker.
Lucy Torres is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues, good afternoon. Now, more than ever, our country's circumstances has made it resoundingly clear that we need to expedite the passing of this House bill establishing the Department of Disaster Resilience. I commend what has been done by the NDRRMC, the local DRR offices, the LGUs, DSWD, DOH, the private sector, and others in responding to the Taal crisis and providing relief to hundreds of thousands affected and displaced. I certainly do not mean to undermine their achievements. But we have to recognize that our current system carries with it structural silos that create natural limitations to the disaster risk reduction, response, relief, recovery, and rehabilitation processes. Our status quo is functionally fragmented, with various functions under the theme of disaster resilience housed under different departments. On top of this, the overall responsibility and management for disaster resilience does not fall under one single cabinet secretary. The Taal eruption is yet another illustration of the effects of fragmentation. The most obvious is the seeming lack of evacuation capacity, not to mention the quality of temporary accommodations. As of yesterday evening, the affected person and internally displaced persons continue to increase, despite PhilVox's reclassification of Taal to Alert Level 3 and 4. More than half of the roughly 300,000 IDPs are seeking shelter outside of evacuation centers. There is also a lot of variance in the information on IDPs. Many are probably undocumented, untracked. Also, information is gathered by many different groups, yielding different numbers. So it's difficult to know which figures to base major decisions on. On top of this, there are health and sanitation issues that will cause more damage the longer IDPs have to stay in evacuation centers. The proposed Department of Disaster Resilience presents a department that carries the responsibility and mandate to lead, manage, direct, and implement all programs pertaining to disaster resilience, from risk reduction to response, relief, recovery, and rehabilitation. The DDR will absorb key disaster risk management functions from the DND and DSWD, namely the disaster risk management functions of the Office of Civil Defense, Disaster Response Assistance and Management Bureau, and the National Resource and Logistics Management Bureau. The DDR will converge with the Climate Change Commission and will have joint supervision over the following key units: PAG-ASA, FIVOLCS of DOST, Geohazard Assessment and Engineering Geology Section of the Mines and Geosciences Bureau, Health Emergency Management Bureau of the DOH, and the Bureau of Fire Protection of the DILG. These integrations will hopefully be the preliminary phase to a holistic approach to one of the biggest threats to our safety and to our country's economic growth. With the DDR, we would be able to establish frameworks for disaster relief, response, recovery, and rehabilitation. This means we don't have to reinvent the wheel all over again each time there is a disaster. We don't have to ask anymore who's in charge of which task. This means that each step will have a standard operating procedure. The DDR will also put more emphasis on risk reduction. This means that we employ scientific research and urban design in making communities less vulnerable to natural disasters. I urge all of you fellow representatives and fellow Filipinos, let us all join hands in creating the Department of Disaster Resilience. Let us deliver what our country needs most at this time. Thank you very much.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend consideration of House Bill number 5989. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. Motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we resume consideration of House Bill number 5832 under Committee Report number 142 and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary General is hereby directed to read House Bill 5832.
House Bill 5832, an act creating the Department of Filipinos Overseas and Foreign Employment, defining its mandate, powers, and functions, appropriating funds, therefore.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the parliamentary status of this bill is that we are in the period of interpellation. And to answer the questions of our colleagues, may I recognize the Chairman of the Government Reorganization, the Honorable Marvin Marinho.
Honorable Marinho is hereby recognized.
To continue with the interpellation, Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Carlos Zarate of the Bayan Muna Party List to interpellate our sponsor. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Carlos Zarate is hereby recognized.
Maraming salamat, Ginoong Speaker. Pwede ho bang magtanong sa ating kagalang-galang na sponsor sa panukalang batas na ating pinagdidebatehan sa kasalukuyan?
Mr. Speaker, isa pong karangalan ng marinig ang mga suwestyon ng ating kasama, Honorable Zarate.
Salamat po, Ginoong Speaker at Ginoong Sponsor. Bilang pangunahing panimulang tanong po, pwede ho bang mailatag natin sa kapulungan ito, ano po ba yung prinsipyo o dahilan? No? Bakit kailangan magbuo o gumawa ng isang bagong departamento para sa mga Pilipinong nasa ibayong bansa at naghahanap buhay sa ibang bansa, Ginoong Speaker, Mr. Sponsor.
Mr. Speaker, unang-una, ito po ay kahilingan ng napakadaming OFWs at alam naman po natin na matagal na itong nire-request na hindi lamang pumasa ng mga nakaraang Kongreso, ngunit ngayon ay tinatalakay natin sa 18th Congress at ito ay nakarating din sa ating Presidente Rodrigo Roa Duterte at siya na mismo ang nagbanggit sa SONA na ito ay kinakailangan na at panahon na maipasa upang mapangalagaan naman natin yung 10 million Filipinos overseas.
Salamat po, Ginoong Sponsor. Nabanggit niyo po, kahilingan at bilang panghuli, para mapangalagaan ang kalagayan ng ating mga kababayan na nasa ibayong bansa. Sunod ko pong katanungan, Ginoong Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Wala ho bang ahensya ng pamahalaan ngayon na binibigyan ng poder na pangalagaan ang sitwasyon o ang kabuhayan ng ating mga kababayan na nasa ibayong bansa at naghahanap buhay sa ibayang bansa? Ginoong Speaker,
Mr. Speaker, madami pong mga ahensya ang na-create sa mga nakaraang panahon. Yun nga po ang nagiging problema, marami na po sila. Kinakailangan pong ma-reorganize po natin ito, maisama sa isang departamento lamang para hindi nalilito yung ating mga kababayan kung saan sila hihingi ng tulong at kung paano sila hihingi ng tulong. Dahil kaya po ginagawa ang departamentong ito ay para po mas maintindihan at mas maganda yung coordination. Yung sa ngayon ay iba't ibang ahensya and bureaus. So kapag po ito ay under ng isang departamento, mas maganda po hindi po magduduplicate yung mga programs para po sa ating mga kababayan.
Salamat, Ginoong Sponsor. Sinabi niyo po, napakaraming ahensya at kaya dapat ang mga ahensyang ito ay kailangan na sa ilalim ng isang departamento lamang. Di po ba sa kasalukuyan, kalakhan ng mga ahensyang ito ay nasa ilalim naman ng isang departamento? Pangunahin dyan ang departamento para sa trabaho or Department of Labor and Employment. Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, meron pong nasa Department of Labor but siyempre po, ang dapat po sigurong minamanage ng DOLE ay yung mga local workers po natin. Kaya nga po hinihiwalay natin yung parte nila doon sa mga overseas workers.
So, inaamin nyo naman po na sa kasalukuyan, nasa kalakhan ng mga ahensyang ito ay nasa isang departamento, no? Department of Labor and Employment. At sa tingin ng kinatawang ito, nararapat lang. Dahil ang usapin naman dito, kahit na tinanggal na yung sa titulo ng panukalang batas na ito, na dati ay tinawag na Department of Overseas Filipino Workers, ay tinawag na yung Filipinos Overseas and Foreign Employment. Ang mga functions ng different agencies na ito ay ginagampanan naman sa ilalim ng Department of Labor. Sunod ko pong katanungan, Ginoong Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, nabanggit nyo kanina kahilingan ng OFW. Ibig po bang sabihin, sa kasalukuyan, ang Department of Labor at ang kanyang mga attached agencies are not functioning as they should function to protect the interests of our overseas Filipino workers? Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Hindi naman po ganoon, Mr. Speaker. Ang kahilingan pong ito ay para lang mas ma-improve natin yung mga serbisyo ng mga ahensyang ito. Na kapag pinagsama-sama natin sa isang ahensya, ay mas less po ang problema ng mga OFWs kung sila ay may lalapitan. Maganda po ay isa lamang and then they coordinate. Dati po kasi coordination ang nangyayari sa bawat iba't ibang ahensya. Pero kung isa po yung departamento, ay mas direkta po yung mga instructions ng, for example, ng secretary ng departamento na ito. at hindi po mangyari yung coordination. Dahil kuminsan po buhay ang kailangang sagipin at yung time element po ay napaka-importante. Lalong-lalo na sa ngayon na meron tayo halimbawa na ire-rescue na mga OFWs sa China. So yan po ay kinakailangan ay mabilis ang desisyon at dapat po ay isa lamang ahensya ang nagde-decide. Pagka po coordination, alam naman po natin na hindi po direct ang supervision kapag coordination lamang, Mr. Speaker.
Salamat po, Ginoong Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. So, lilinawin ko lang po at inamin naman ninyo. Ang problema ngayon ay usapin pala ng coordination ng mga ahensya. At sa tingin ng kinatawang ito, kung ang usapin ay coordination, ay hindi kailangan magbalangkas ng panibagong batas at magdagdag ng bagong layer of bureaucracy. No? Isang tungtungan na naman ng bureaucrasya. Dahil sinabi niyo po pala, nagpa-function naman ng mga ahensyang ito at ang kailangan lang ay ayusin ang koordinasyon ng iba't ibang ahensya na nasa ilalim naman ngayon ng isang departamento na Department of Labor and Employment. No? So, malinaw po yan. No? Parang ang sinasabi ng ating kagalang-galang na sponsor, kahilingan kasi ito. Ako ho ay hindi naniniwala no, na ganoon ang kahilingan ng ating mga overseas Filipino workers. Ang mas gusto pa nila, kailangan ayusin ang serbisyo. No? Sa panahon na kailangan nila ang ayuda o tulong ng pamahalaan, ay andyan ang ating mga opisyal ng pamahalaan na tutulong sa kanila. No? At hindi gumawa ng isa pang departamento, ng isang layer of bureaucracy. No? Kagaya nitong pinapanukala natin ngayon, nagagawa na naman tayo ng isang departamento. And pupunta po ako doon sa nabanggit ninyo. Binanggit ninyong isang halimbawa, ang sitwasyon ngayon na nagkakaroon ng problema sa ating mga manggagawa sa China. No? At sinabi ninyo, kung merong bagong departamento ay mas madali ang pagtulong sa kanila. And I beg to disagree. No? Because that problem is not just a problem of one department. And the good sponsor very well know that even if there is a new department, or even if it is now within the Department of Labor, no? Kahit na may bagong departamento on overseas Filipinos, ang usapin ng ating mga OFW sa China, if we will take that as an example, ay may pakialam pa rin ang kagawaran ng foreign affairs. No? So again, you're just, nagdadagdag lang tayo ng layer kasi hindi mo naman pa rin pwedeng alisin ng foreign affairs dyan sa usapin ng ating mga OFWs. Incidentally, may I inquire, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor, from the good sponsor, meron ho ba tayong statistiko o datos? Ilan ho ba ang mga kababayan nating Pilipino ang umaalis sa bansa araw-araw para maghanap ng hanap buhay sa ibang bansa, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, siguro po estimate nasa 5,000 per day.
Almost 6,000 daily. Tama po ba yun, Mr. Sponsor? 6,000 average, 6,000 Filipinos are going abroad to seek employment abroad.
That's correct, Mr. Speaker.
Ano po kaya ang tingin ninyong naging dahilan dyan, Ginoong Sponsor, Mr. Speaker? Dahil maalala ko, nung aking first term dito sa kongresong ito, napag-usapan rin itong overseas Filipino, ating phenomenon, no? Of our kababayan going abroad. At that time, nasa average of 3,000 Filipinos are going out of the country every day. And now, 7 years thereafter, we have a situation where 6,000 Filipinos are going out of the country every day seeking employment abroad. When President Duterte first step in Malacanang. No? Sabi niya, pangunahin niyang solusyonan talaga ay ang problema ng kawalan ng trabaho. Kaya andyan yung tinutulak yung ambisyosong projects ng Build. And in fact, I remember at one time, nung magkagulo sa gitnang silangan, sinabi niya, umuwi na kayo rito dahil meron ng mga employment. But as we speak now, we have 6,000 Filipinos going abroad every day dahil gusto nilang magtrabaho, maghanap ng hanap buhay. So may I inquire from the good sponsor, Mr. Speaker, ano kaya ang dahilan? Bakit ganun pa rin? Tumataas ang estatistiko at numero ng ating mga kababayang lumalabas sa bansa.
Well, Mr. Speaker, iba't iba po ang dahilan ng ating mga kababayan at yan naman po ay isang karapatan ng bawat isa na mag-seek ng opportunity elsewhere. At ang kagandahan nga po pag na-create ang departamento na ito ay meron ng tututok doon sa mga programa na para makabalik ang ating mga Filipinos at magkaroon ng trabaho dito sa ating bansa. Sa ngayon po ay hindi po malinaw kung papaano at ano yung mga programa na nakahanda para sa kanila. Pero kung magkakaroon po tayo ng isang departamento, and again, this is not another layer of bureaucracy. Ang pinagsasama-sama lang po natin yung existing na mga bureaus and agencies sa isang departamento. We did not add another layer. Pati nga, yung budget nga po nila ay yun din ang napapaloob dito sa departamento na ito. At nadagdagan pa yung mga assistance to nationals ng 5 billion pesos. Meron din po dito tayo makukuha humigit kumulang hopefully doon sa exemption doon sa foreign remittances na documentary taxes. Iyon po ay humigit kumulang 15 billion pesos. So pag na-create po ang departamento na ito, ay mas maganda po yung mga programa, mas marami po yung pondo. At syempre po, iba't ibang dahilan ng ating mga kababayan. Ang kailangan po may tumutok doon sa mga job matching na para sila ay makabalik. This department will also look at doon sa mga Filipino migrants na tinatap din natin. Meron ho isang undersecretary na nakatutok dyan upang sila ay makapag-invest ulit o makabalik dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. So, hindi naman po lahat ng overseas workers ay cargo ng departamento na ito. Marami rin po ang ginagawa ating programa na mas nakakatulong po yung mga migrants na nandoon na sa ibang bansa. So, ang focus po ng departamento na ito ay isang agency lang talaga na tututok sa pag-alis pa lamang, binibrief na sila, ano ang kanilang i-expect sa ibang bansa, at syempre integrated din po yung mga programa para sa pagbalik nila dito, alam din nila kung ano yung kanilang pwedeng asahan. Dahil dapat po yan, bago sila bumalik o bago matapos yung kontrata, ay meron ng nakahanda na programa. Kapag po iba't iba yung bureau, hindi naman po yan agad-agad na nalalaman yung programa ng isang ahensya. Meron pong kanya-kanya silang ahensya. For example, ang problema po ay legal. Iba po ang ahensya na tumututok dyan. O kaya ang problema naman ay hanap buhay. Iba rin pong ahensya ang tumututok dyan. Pero kung iisa lang po yung departamento, ay alam na agad nung ahensya na yon na pag-alis, pagbalik, problema, iisa po yung kausap nila. Yun po ang the very essence and purpose of this department, Mr. Speaker.
Salamat po, ginawang sponsor. At yung mga nabanggit nyo ay hindi na rin bago. Ginagawa na yan sa kasalukuyan ng iba't ibang ahensya na sinasabi ninyo. At in fact, inamin nyo rin kanina, ang problema lang naman talaga is coordination. And I believe, even without a creation, ng bagong departamento, kung coordination na yung problema, ay pwedeng masolusyonan yan. And I also disagree na totoo, karapatan naman ng bawat isa kung gusto niyang lumabas ng bansa. Pero ang sagot ho doon sa aking katanungan na very clear, wala hong oportunidad sa ating bansa sa ngayon na makapaghanap buhay sila ng nakabubuhay na hanap buhay. No? Kaya po, pataas na pataas ang numero at statistiko ng mga lumalabas na mga kababayan natin sa ibang bansa at pumupunta sila kahit na sa mga lugar na mayroong kaguluhan, kagaya ng ibang bansa sa gitnang silangan. No? Hindi po ito dahil gusto lang nilang pumunta roon. No? Gusto kong magtrabaho lang doon. Dahil dito mismo sa ating bansa ay wala ang oportunidad. At yun po ang malinaw. No? At kaya po nilalatag natin ito dahil ang pag-create nitong agency na ito or this department, as already correctly presented and stated here by my colleagues previously, will only strengthen and mas itutulak pa nito yung labor export policy ng ating pamahalaan na nagsimula nga ng mga ilang dekada na ang nakaraan. No? Dahil inamin nyo na rin po sa kapulungan ito ng mga nakaraan, no? Napakalaki ng taon-taon, halos 1/3 of our GDP, no? Or 1/3 of our national budget ay nanggagaling doon sa remittances ng nagmumula sa mga overseas Filipinos. So, yun po ang malinaw. Kahit ho ilang departamento pa ang ating i-create, if there is no policy of really creating jobs in our country, if there is no policy of, for example, yung nabanggit na namin dito, a thoroughgoing agrarian reform program, of there is no policy of a national industrialization. So, magiging, yung sinasabi po ninyo, this department will help our on job matching, pagbalik nila rito, it will not solve the issue of exporting our labor, no? Sa ibang bansa. Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, siyempre, hindi naman po natin dinideny na may kakulangan sa mga oportunidad dito sa ating bansa. But that's besides the point. Hindi naman po dahil may kakulangan ay hindi na tayo dapat mag-create ng isang ahensya na alam naman natin makakatulong sa napakadaming Pilipino. This is my personal feeling about overseas workers. Alam po natin ang gobyerno, hindi naman to policy para sila'y paalisin. Sa akin po, ito ay personal na choice ng ating mga kababayan at yan ay nire-respeto natin. At hindi naman po lahat ng nagtrabaho sa ibang bansa ay puro sad story. Marami po ang mga success stories at marami po ang mga buhay na rin na nabago dahil sila ay nabigyan ng opportunity na magtrabaho sa ibang bansa. They learned certain skills and when they came back to the Philippines, they also applied. Nakapagnegosyo po sila, they are successful engineers. So marami rin po akong narinig na success stories. So bakit ko po ito sinasabi? Dahil hindi naman po masama na ang mamamayan natin ay nagtatrabaho abroad. Wala pong masama dyan. In fact, other countries are encouraging their citizens to work abroad so that they can learn all the global practices that are being done abroad. And then when they come back to their own country, ay mas lalo po silang na-inspire, mas lalo po silang nagkakaroon, nakakaisip ng ibang opportunities. So, personally, I don't see a bad policy na kung sakaling meron tayong polisiya, kung sakali na payagan natin o paalisin ang ating mga kababayan, hindi po yan makakasama. In fact, mas makakatulong po yan sa ating bansa dahil hindi na po natin cargo yung mga milyon-milyon Pilipino na walang trabaho. Kung hindi po sila aalis dito, ay lalo pong magiging scarce ang resources ng ating gobyerno. Hindi po sila makakapag-aral, hindi po sila matututo, wala po silang skills na ma-acquire. Then we will not get out of the cycle. So ito pong opportunity abroad is one way to get out of the cycle of poverty. So sa akin po personally lang po yun. That is because I experience working abroad. I'm not saying that is the policy of the government. The government obviously wants Filipinos to have jobs here in the Philippines. But my personal, my opinion is there's nothing wrong about having to have a job or opportunity elsewhere. Yun po ang aking pananaw, Mr. Speaker. At
Salamat po, Ginoong Sponsor. Lilinawin po natin, talaga namang kung hindi masama, no? Ang magtrabaho sa ibang bansa. No? Ang sinasabi lang po natin dito, at salamat po at inaamin ninyo na ang creation ng departamentong ito ay isang pamamaraan para maiwasan ng pamahalaan na karguhin, no? Ang kanyang responsibilidad, no? Na buhayin ang kanyang mamamayan. No? Ipasa ito doon sa ibang bansa. No? Umalis kayo, pumunta kayo sa ibang bansa para makaahon kayo sa kahirapan. Salamat po sa pag-amin noon na ito pala yung purpose ng departamentong ito. No? Ang sinasabi po natin dito, kung merong mga oportunidad sana sa ating bansa, at ito ay aking personal na alam, no? Dahil meron dun akong mga relatives din, no? Na nasa ibang bansa. Kung merong oportunidad dito, mas pipiliin nila, no? Na maghanap buhay dito sa ating bansa na kasama ang kanilang pamilya. No? Hindi ko sinasabi na walang success story, no? But I hazard to say that for these 6,000 Filipinos going out abroad every day, majority dyan, kung merong oportunidad, ay ayaw nilang umalis sa bansa. Kaya yun po dapat ang ating solusyonan. No? Sa pangmatagalan, na ang ating mga kababayan ay hindi na sila aalis sa ating bansa, kagaya ng ibang bansa, no? Na hindi na sila umaalis. Dahil merong maraming oportunidad ng hanap buhay sa kanilang sariling bansa, sa ating bansa. No? Job opportunity na nakabubuhay din. No? Nitong nakaraan, ipinangalandakan ng administrasyon na the Duterte legacy created millions of job opportunities, no, employment. Pero nung finak-check ho yan, these are employment na hindi naman pang matagalan. No? And they cited even incorrectly that these are generated, this employment or these jobs were generated by build. No? Pero kung titingnan mo, sumobra pa ang kanilang estimates doon sa reported ng PSA na jobs created by the construction industry. No? So, yun po ang gusto nating pinupunto rito, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Dahil kung magpapatuloy na ang policy natin ay, gaya ng nabanggit nyo kanina, ayaw nang ikarguhin ng pamahalaan yung problema ng kahirapan at itutulak na lang ang ating mga kababayan abroad, ay darating ho ang panahon, no, na baka maubos ang ating mga kababayan, no? Because we choose to a policy, no, of exporting our labor rather than mag-create ng mga employment dito sa ating bansa. Incidentally, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, pwede ho bang mailatag ninyo sa kapulungang ito? Nitong nakaraang taon po, ilan ho ba ang, or in the past 3 years of the administration, ilan ho ba ang nag-create nating trabaho kumpara sa available manpower po natin, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Can my friend repeat the question? Ilan po ang
job creation, no? In the past 3 years, for example?
Job creation po dito sa ating bansa?
Dito sa ating bansa. Locally, domestically. Dahil kung gusto ko pong dugtungan, para po makumpleto yung sagot ninyo, nakita ko rin dito sa ating panukalang batas na parang may sunset provision. No? This department will be, in the next 10 years, after 10 years, there will be a review whether or not this department will still continue or not. No? Ang ibig pong sabihin yan, kung nasusolusyonan, yun yung premise dyan, sa loob ng 10 taon yung problema ng kawalan ng trabaho, ay this department will, ipso facto, mawawala na siya. Tama po ba yung pagkakaintindi ko?
Well, Mr. Speaker, the sunset provision is designed nga po. Hindi po natin alam kung kailan pa kailangan na magtrabaho ng ating mga kabayan abroad. I mean, the times could change anytime. Pwede pong within 5 years, pwedeng 10 years. Depende po yan sa mga nangyayari. Katulad halimbawa po, for instance, nagkaroon nga po ng magandang opportunity dito sa ating bansa. Siyempre, by supply and demand, ay mangangailangan po tayo ng mga workers. Ang maganda po nito, marami tayong pwedeng pabalikin na workers na meron ng experiences at na-train na rin po sila. Hindi po katulad halimbawa ng ibang bansa, yung Japan. Sila po ay ngayon ay bumaba yung population, naghahanap po sila ng mga workers, wala po silang makuha. Dahil kukunti lang po yung kanilang, tumatanda na po yung population nila. And they have to find foreigners to work in their own country. Ang maganda po rito sa atin, pag nangyari po yung may pangangailangan tayong mga workers, hindi po natin kailangan mag-employ ng foreign workers dahil marami po tayo na nagtrabaho sa ibang bansa, marunong na at babalik na rin po dito. That's the purpose of the sunset provision. I mean, we can change it. It doesn't have to be 10 years. Pag sa loob po ng 5 taon ay meron na pong jobs available dito. This is just a matter of job matching. Ito na nga po yung isang trabaho ng departamento na ito. I-match po natin at pipilitin po natin na makita nila yung mga opportunities dito. Siyempre, pagka po kayo ay nasa abroad, hindi nyo po agad malalaman kung ano yung mga available na trabaho dito sa Pilipinas because you are busy working. Ang nagtatrabaho po sa abroad ay 8 hours na nagtatrabaho, they get 15 minutes break before lunch. Wala na pong panahon para maghanap pa ng ibang trabaho. Kaya lamang po ngayon ay meron ng mga bagong teknolohiya, merong internet, they can check the websites. Ang government po natin ay communicates with them through the websites. So nakikita po yung opportunities. So yun po ang kagandahan ng departamento na ito. It will look at the situation of our OFWs, not only yung sa mga programa pagbalik, but hinihikayat po sila na magbalik dito. That's why there is a sunset provision because the department will do everything in its power to make sure that they get the jobs here and not abroad. But again, marami rin po sa ating mga kababayan ang okay lang magtrabaho sa abroad because nakakausap din naman po nila yung pamilya nila through their phones, through their live videos. So, iba po yung sitwasyon noon at iba rin po yung sitwasyon ngayon based on the new technology. So, anything can change. Katulad po niyan, halimbawa, sa China, pauwiin, ilang daan tao po yung pauwiin. Then, that could change the numbers. Ngayon po, may 6,000 umaalis. Baka po ngayon, wala nang aalis. Wala pong una pupunta sa China. Wala pong pupunta doon sa mga lugar na merong coronavirus. So, anytime, the numbers can change, Mr. Speaker. So, hindi naman po ngayon nangangahulugan na 6,000 kada araw. I mean, tomorrow, baka po 1,000 na lang. So,
Salamat po. Ang problema po, kung bukas 1,000 na lang, ano po ang magiging trabaho ng 5,000 na hindi naaalis bukas?
Yun na nga po.
Yun po ang tinatanong ko. No? Sa pagkakaalam po ba ng kagalang-galang na sponsor, sinabi nyo kanina, the department, this proposed new department will do all its powers, no? Within its powers, para matugunan yung problema ng ating mga kababayan, job matching, etc. Sa pagkakaalam nyo, ano po ang aside sa patakaran na mag-create ng isang departamento ngayon, ano po ba ang patakaran pa ng ehekutibo, ng gobyerno in general, para po yung sinasabi ninyong sunset provision, no, na ang ating mga kababayan ay mananatili na sa ating bayan at hindi na sila lalabas at makakahanap sila ng trabaho rito. Kaya ko po tinanong kanina yung job creation in the last 3 years and what is the projection of this administration in the next, in the remaining years of the administration as far as creating jobs for our people. Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Well, I'll get that detail, the data, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker. But siyempre hindi naman po yun, I have the data, Madam Speaker. It is 2017, the jobs created is 743,000, and 2018, 826,000 jobs created, Madam Speaker. So, ang sinasabi ko lamang po ay yung departamento ay makakatulong sa pag-create din ng trabaho o pagmamatch ng mga trabaho ng ating mga OFWs. The executive department, they have their own way on how to execute whether this department will be created faster than yung mga dati pong mga departamentong nakikreate. So, kung nanggaling naman po sa ating mahal na presidente, yung mismong kagustuhan na ma-create ang departamento na ito, ako po'y naniniwala na sa loob ng lalong madaling panahon ay may pag-asa ma-create ang departamento na ito once it is approved here in the House of Representatives and also in the Senate.
Salamat, Ginoong Sponsor. Mahalaga po na kaya ko po itinanong yun kung ano ang mga patakaran or policies, whether it's still in the process of being implemented or already implemented by the executive para masagot yung kawalan ng trabaho. Dahil totoo po, ang ating function as legislators ay magbalangkas ng batas. Pero ang pagbalangkas ho natin ng batas, gaya nito, gagawa tayo ng batas para gumawa ng isang departamento, ay dapat nakabatay din sa konkretong kalagayan. No? Mahalaga. No? Naglagay tayo rito ng sunset provision dahil sabi natin, baka magbago ang ihip ng hangin. Hindi ho natin alam, in the next 5 years, baka matugunan na yung problema ng kawalan ng trabaho. But if you look at statistics, no, even kaya tinanong ko po yung job creation. No? In the last 3 years of the administration, from 2016 until at least last year, no? Ang average jobs creation lang ng administration is nasa 81,000 every year. So, if you have 81,000 ang dagdag mong trabaho at halos milyon yung walang trabaho, eh talagang ang magiging patakaran mo rito ay encourage mo na lumabas yung ating mga kababayan at maghanap ng trabaho abroad. Kahit na doon sa mga lugar na mayroong kaguluhan. Dahil gaya po ng nabanggit nyo kanina, hindi kayang tustusan ng gobyerno yung problema ng kawalan ng trabaho at kawalan ng hanap buhay ng ating mga kababayan. So, for example, ito po ay opisyal na statistiko, no? Between 2016 to 2018. In 2016, ang employed ho natin ay nasa 41 million. In 2018, it's 41.2 million. No? Or there's only an average increase of 163,000 jobs newly created. And kung babatayan po ninyo ito sa nakaraang ilang administrasyon, napakababa nito. No? Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Halimbawa, sa loob ng Aquino administration, for example. First Aquino administration, 1987 to 1992. Statistics will show na ang na-create na hanap buhay dito ay 810,000. During the Ramos administration, 1993 to 1998, 489,000 jobs created. Under the Estrada administration, for 3 years, 842,000 jobs created. The Arroyo administration, 2002 to 2010, 764,000 jobs created. In the Aquino administration, second Aquino administration, 827,000 according to thousands jobs created according to the PSA. So, yun pong record, kung pagbabatayan natin ang record ng kasalukuyang administrasyon sa nakaraang 3 taon, ay way below, no, the annual average of jobs created. No? So, kaya ito ang nakikita natin. Kaya kailangan magbuo ng isang bagong departamento, at tama rin yung sinabi nyo, para madali ang koordinasyon ng pag-i-export pa ng ating mga kababayan doon sa ibang bansa dahil ayaw ng karguhin ng gobyerno yung responsibilidad na bigyan ng nakabubuhay na hanap buhay, no? Nakabubuhay na sahod at pangmatagalang hanap buhay ang ating mga kababayan. Yun po ang nakikita natin dito, Ginoong Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Madam Speaker, siguro po iba lang ang aking pananaw dahil I'm very optimistic that magbabago ang sitwasyon dito sa ating bansa. Irregardless of the job opportunities here in our country, ito pong pag-create ng departamento na ito ay clamor ng mga overseas Filipinos. Pinapakinggan po natin, ito po yung trabaho natin bilang public servants. Ito po yung clamor nila. Sila po ang may gusto na ma-create ang departamento na ito upang sila ay mapangangalagaan natin. At sila rin naman po ay gustong bumalik dito sa ating bansa. Hindi po nila ito hinihiling para sila ay lalong magtrabaho sa ibang bansa. Sila po mismo pumunta rito. In fact, during the technical working group, madami po dito ang pumunta upang manawagan na may create ito. Nakaabot pa nga po sa ating presidente. Tayo naman pong mga lingkod bayan ay dapat narinig na natin ito matagal na. Tayo naman po ay merong mga constituents na overseas workers. Sinasabi po nila sinong tumutulong sa amin, sino ang aming lalapitan. Dapat po matagal na nating na-create ang departamento na ito. Yun nga lang po, nakabot pa, Madam Speaker, sa ating presidente at yung presidente na mismo ang naghikayat sa atin na ma-create ang departamento na ito. Hindi lamang naman po ito dahil may sitwasyon na walang trabaho dito. Because there are, aminin man natin, madami po Filipinos ang nasa abroad and not all of them are sad stories. Marami po doon ay very optimistic na sila ay makakabalik dito. Kaya nga po sila ay nagkaklamor ng departamento na ito para malaman nila kung ano yung mga programa na pwede naming balikan pag kami ay bumalik after working abroad for 2 years, 5 years, even 10 years. Kung wala po itong departamento na ito ay mananatili pong hindi maliwanag sa kanila ang kanilang mga babalikan dito. Mas lalo pong dadami yung mananatili abroad. Kaya nga po sila ay nagkaklamor ng departamento ay para ho sila ay makabalik sa lalong madaling panahon dahil gusto po nila makasama ang kanilang mga pamilya. So, I beg to disagree with the concept na ng ating kasamahan. Ako po ay siyempre very optimistic po ako na magbabago ang ating ekonomiya. Although siguro yung numbers it doesn't show right now, but those are only workers. Hindi po natin binibilang dyan yung mga negosyo na nakikreate dahil ng mga nag-i-invest yung ating mga pamilya ng ating mga overseas workers, nag-i-invest po sa kanilang mga pamilya dito na nakikreate yung mga other opportunities. That has a multiplier effect, Madam Speaker. Hindi naman po natin pwedeng tingnan na job creation lamang. Marami po dito ay investments na pwedeng ibalik ng ating mga Filipino overseas. Marami po dito ay pag bumabalik sila ay malaki ang kontribusyon sa ating ekonomiya. So hindi po lahat ay dahil meron tayong polisiya na pagpapaalis sa ating mga kababayan. Hindi po tunay yun. Ang sinasabi po natin ay existent. Meron tayong mga kababayan nasa abroad, kailangan po natin silang pangalagaan, kaya natin kine-create ang departamento na ito. Gusto rin natin sila ay makabalik dito na meron silang aasahan na magandang mga programa. So yun po ay aking pananaw, Madam Speaker.
Salamat, Ginoong Sponsor, Madam Speaker. Salamat sa iyong sagot. While I admire your optimism, I regretfully do not share yung optimism. As shown by the numbers, this anemic job growth in the past 3 years is very ominous. Kung yun lang ang nagagawang trabaho sa loob, average of 81,000, ay talagang itong palamuti lang itong sunset provision dito dahil this is just parang an act of tokenism to show na ang pamahalaan ay may planong tapusin na ang pag-export ng ating labor. Nonetheless, very clear, no? That policy will not change because yun pa rin ang tinutumbok ng ating pamahalaan. I will now go to another point, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Very clear, earlier, you mentioned na ang problema naman talaga kalakhan, coordination. I share your sentiment that yun talaga ang clamor ng ating mga overseas Filipinos. No? Ina-articulate nila yung kawalan ng tulong, pag sila ay nangangailangan, nagkakaproblema abroad. No? So, in this proposed bill, may I inquire, Mr. Sponsor, Madam Speaker, if granting that a new department will be created as proposed, sa usapin na ngayon ng deployment ng ating kababayan abroad, sino na ang may pangunahing poder? Sa panahon halimbawa ng may problema ang ating mga kababayan dahil pumutok ang giyera sa gitnang silangan.
Kung sakali pong makreate ang departamento na ito,
yes,
ay ito po ang sekretary ang mga ngasiwa ng polisiya, pero in coordination with, of course, the Department of Foreign Affairs and the other agencies. Mas maganda na po, hindi na po siya masyadong maraming coordination. Makakapag-decide po yung secretary kung ano talaga yung gagawin because it is within the discretion of the secretary.
Ang ibig niyo pong sabihin, that is not happening now. Secretary, for example, Secretary Bello cannot decide on his own. Mr. Sponsor, Madam Speaker.
Kanina po nakikinig ako dito kay Secretary Duque at saka sa tanong na sino ba ang nagde-decide. I wanted to ask earlier, how does the decision-making process kapag may ganong sitwasyon? Is it the Secretary of DOH? Is it the Secretary of Foreign Affairs? So meron pong kalituhan.
That's
Makikreate
precisely
po
my...
itong departamento na ito, isa pong secretary, siya po ang mag-head at madali lang po yung desisyon. Tatanungin lamang po siguro yung Secretary of Health, ano ba yung mga parameters natin, kailan tayo magde-decide kung ibabalik dito yung OFW o hindi, ano yung mga safeguards kung hindi sila makakahawa. So, my understanding is if there is this department, then there is a clear delineation of responsibilities. Mas madali po ang desisyon kapag gano'n.
Salamat po. Sa kasalukuyan, sino po ba ang nagde-decide? Halimbawa, nung sumabog ang digmaan sa gitnang silangan at kailangang umuwi na, pauwiin ang ating mga kababayan dito na nagtatrabaho doon, sino po ang nagde-decide?
Ang alam ko po ay ang ating presidente ay nag-assign sa ating Secretary of DNR, if I'm not mistaken, Secretary Simatu. Yun nga po, dahil wala po tayong Secretary ng Department of Overseas Employment, kinakailangan pa pong mag-assign sa another Secretary ng responsibility para i-repatriate yung ating mga kasamahan doon sa Middle East. Meron pong, yun nga po, hindi po siya set in stone na dapat meron talagang secretary na mangangasiwa kapag may ganong mga sitwasyon. Mahirap po yung i-assign natin yung secretary ng DNR, mawawala po siya doon sa trabaho niya as Secretary of DNR. That is precisely the purpose of this department. Meron na pong mangangasiwa.
So pag naitatag po ang departamentong ito, wala nang special envoy na katulad ni Secretary Simato, just for expatriation of our overseas Filipino workers.
Yes.
Tama po ba yun?
Tama po.
Sponsor,
Sa
Madam
tingin ko
Speaker?
po, tama yun, Madam Speaker.
Pwede po bang maibanggit na kagalang-galang na sponsor? Saan po nakatitik, nakalagay yan sa ating panukalang batas na wala na ho yung ganon?
Hindi man po nakalagay dito yon sa batas. That is prerogative of the President as the President.
Exactly,
ang
Mr. Sponsor.
sinasabi ko naman po ay kapag meron pong ganitong departamento, natural lamang na yung Secretary ng Department of Foreign ng departamento nito ang siyang bibigyan ng delegation, ide-delegate yung trabaho na yon, Madam Speaker.
Well, hindi ko nakikita yung pagkakaiba dahil ngayon talagang sa mga usapin ng trabaho ng ating mga kababayan sa ibayong bansa ay nasa poder yan ni Secretary Bello, no? Bumabiyahe siya sa ibang bansa, again in coordination with Department of Foreign Affairs, no? And dito sa panukalang batas na ito ay wala ring pagbabago, no? Sabi ninyo, it will simplify and make things easy, no? Pero kung papansinin niyo, and malinaw naman dito sa section 14, no, ng panukalang batas, yung ginagawa ngayon ni Secretary Bello ay gagawin rin ng panibagong secretary, no? And then again in coordination with the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, dahil kahit na merong bagong departamento ay hindi ho automatic yon na yung departamentong yun na lang o ang kalihim ng departamentong yun ang merong diskresyon, merong poder, lalo't ito ay it involves, no, foreign relations. Tama po ba yun, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Tama po. Anything that involves foreign relations needs the advice of the Department of Foreign Affairs. At
Just like
depende po sa bansa na may issue, siyempre po ang ambassador or the head of the yung ambassador po or consul general ang siyang kinukonsulta at siya po yung head ng delegation sa mga usaping na merong foreign issues or diplomatic issues.
Exactly. Just like what is just the same, no? The situation now under the Department of Labor, no? Ganun din po ang nangyari. Wala siyang pagkakaiba. Now, I'll go to another item, Sir Sponsor, Madam Speaker. Sabi niyo kanina, we have to create this department para yung coordination mas maayos at nasa isang tao na lang yung parang bastonero, no? Yung nagmamando sa buong departamento, hindi kagaya ngayon. Pwede po bang mailinaw ng kagalang-galang na sponsor, Madam Speaker, in particular, bakit po ang kagawaran o ang opisina ng Overseas Workers Welfare Administration is just like its function now, it's an attached agency of DOLE. No? At dito rin, sa inyong panukalang batas, ganun din ang kanyang papel. Hindi naman talaga siya buong-buong parte ng itatatag na bagong departamento. Mr. Sponsor, Madam Speaker.
Well, matagal po yan, Madam Speaker, diniscuss during the TWG at ang na-discuss po doon ay because of the the private nature of the funds of OWA, na yun po ay nanggagaling sa mga members na $25 per membership. So may private nature po yung funds na minamanage ng OWA. So we cannot mix it with the public funds right away. But there is a provision here that we can review after 2 years of the existence of this department, the functions of OWA and the funds regarding the private funds. So meron po nakalagay dito na ito po ay will be reviewed after 2 years the existence of this department. Yun lang po talaga, may private component po kasi yung funds. Kaya po hindi agad siya nai-attach. Kung may attach po agad dito, mas marami magiging problema. Hindi po natin matatapos itong departamento nito.
So that's another point, no, na gusto nating i-raise. hindi totoo na pag nag-create ka ng bagong department, nasolusyonan mo yung problema. Dahil gaya nito, talaga matagal na rin usapin yung OWA. No? Dahil sa totoo lang, ang mga overseas Filipino workers naman din talaga ang bumubuhay sa sarili nila dahil doon sa kanilang kontribusyon. No? Bago sila umalis, mayroon silang binabayaran. At kung sila ay wala ng, kung whatever reason, wala na silang hanap buhay sa ibang bansa, pagbalik nila, ay doon sila hihingi ng tulong sa pondong kanilang ibinigay. Hindi ho pondo ng pamahalaan. So again, hindi na solusyonan yung problema na sinasabi ninyo. No? Hindi inaako ng gobyerno at ng Estado yung kanyang responsibilidad. That's why OWA in this proposed department is still an attached agency. No? Dahil ayaw ng gobyerno, ayaw ng pamahalaan i-subsidize yung problema ng mga overseas Filipino workers. Gusto lang niyang kumuha ng kumuha through remittances. Bubuhayin ng ating bansa, pero pag wala ng trabaho yung ating mga overseas Filipinos, yung ating mga bagong bayani, pagbalik niya rito sa bansa, doon pa rin kukuha sa pondong kanyang itinatag. No? Dahil wala hong counterpart fund from the government to answer for whatever contingency na mawalan ng trabaho ang ating mga kababayan. No? So, ayaw ko mang sabihin, no, parang piniprito natin ang ating mga overseas Filipino workers sa sarili nilang mantika, no? Dahil sa kaayusang ganito.
Well, Madam Speaker, yung pong sa OWA ay private funds at yung mga tulong po nun ay doon sa mga members. Marami po tayong overseas workers na hindi members ng OWA. So kaya nga po natin kinikreate ang departamento na ito, maglalagay ng pondo para naman po lahat ng nangangailangan tulong, mabigyan ng tulong, hindi lamang yung mga members ng OWA. Maglalagay po ng pondo dito, initially assistance to nationals na 5 billion. At meron pa hong pwedeng kuhanan ng pondo na 15 billion. Paano po yung mga hindi members ng OWA? So yun po ay yung purpose ng departamento na ito. Kung wala po itong departamento na ito, ay yun na lamang pong mga members ang makikinabang. Paano po yung hindi members? So ito po yung purpose, kaya kinikreate din ng departamento na ito para ma-address din po natin yung mga hindi members ng OWA. May pondo po tayo nakalaan at yung mga programa ay meron din silang aasahan. Madam Speaker.
At any rate, sinabi niyo po kanina na matagal na rin usapin yan at even up to now, hindi na resolved. No? I'll go to another issue. No? Sinabi niyo kanina, wala namang mababago rito in terms of budgetary requirement. We'll just pull together the budget of the different departments. No? But may I inquire from the good sponsor, Madam Speaker, meron po bang, pag granting na itatag na natin itong departamentong ito, meron po bang mga kawani na mawalan ng trabaho or ma-displace sa pag-aaral po ninyo, no? Bilang sponsor ng panukalang batas na ito?
Ang alam ko po ay wala naman pong mawawalan ng trabaho dahil the agencies will be subsumed by this department. Mababago lamang po siguro yung mga items, mga job description, pero under the existing civil law, civil service law, ay they are provided the proper protection. So unless they, of course, they opt to retire or they opt to not to continue, nasa sa kanila po yan. Pero hindi po sila maaalis dahil ng creation ng departamento na ito.
Well, naitanong ko lang yan dahil dito kasi sa panukalang batas natin, Section 21, there is an anticipation of employees who will be separated or who will be, nabanggit po rito, who will be separated from service within 6 months as a result of the organization and reorganization. So, ibig pong sabihin, this is not just a simple coming together of different agencies. No? Kahit na doon sa staffing pattern, ay merong pagbabago yan. Kaya yun po ang tinanong ko sa inyong pag-aaral and hindi naman siguro nilagay lang ito rito na walang pag-aaral. Ilan hong mga kawani ang posibleng maapektuhan nito? Hindi ko okay, wala akong tanong doon sa whether they will receive the corresponding separation pay, but my question is they will be separated from employment. Is there a study on that, Mr. Sponsor, Madam Speaker?
Well, ang pagkakalam ko po, Madam Speaker, wala namang mawawalang trabaho unless there is a redundancy on the job. So,
that's precisely.
Sa pag-aaral nga po pala ay kulang pa yung tao. So, sa malamang po magkaroon pa ng other opportunities for people to be promoted either lateral or vertical dahil sa mas malaki po yung ahensya. At ang sinasabi naman po dito na mga separation pay ay if they opt to retire and if they are qualified to get the retirement benefits under the existing laws. So, yun naman pong ayaw ng mag-continue na lumipat doon sa departamento, yun po ay pinapayagan. Pero ayon po sa ibinigay sa aking datos ay magiging kulang pa yung mga tao dahil nga po sa madadagdagan yung mga pangangailangan, dadagdagan ng serbisyo. So there are other job opportunities, Madam Speaker.
Sige po. So ilan po ang sa kasalukuyan, ilan ang mga kawani ng different agents na ito at ilan pa ang kailangan pag naitayo ang departamentong ito?
Wala po akong eksaktong numbers sa ngayon. I will try to get the data. Ang alam ko lamang po ay yung budget ng bawat departamento. Ito po ay makikita sa GAA, pero ang budget lamang po ang datos. Number of personnel, for example, ang officers po ng OMWA, which is the Undersecretary for Migrant Workers Affairs, ay 11. Regular plantilla is 25. Sa Legal Assistance Fund, 21. So, total 68 doon sa OMWA. At doon naman po sa Commission on Filipinos Overseas, lahat po yun ay ma-absorb. Sa POLO, DOLE, Labor Attaché, 59. Admin Staff, 162. International Labor Bureau, 35. Pero ito po yung malalaman natin kapag pinagsama na po lahat ang departamento na ito at na-identify po natin yung mga gaps na kailangan pang lagyan ng personnel. Sa ngayon po ay wala akong datos kung ilan ang madadagdag. Pero ayon lamang sa pag-aaral, ito ay magkukulang pa. At siguro in-anticipate na rin po natin na merong mga magre-retire dito sa mga ahensya na ito bago pa rin makreate yung bagong departamento. Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Sponsor. Yun nga po ang napansin ko rito, yung issue na yan sa usapin ng staffing. At any rate, panghuli po, nabanggit ko na rin ito kanina na ang tawag ko nga rito ay isang act of tokenism just to show na yung ating labor export policy ay babaguhin na natin. Mandatory review, 10 years, 1055. After 10 years, kung hindi pa natugunan yung problema, in the next another 5 years ulit, i-review. Then another 5 years ulit, i-review. Tama po ba yun, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Madam Speaker, nakalagay po dito ay 10 years. Depende po yan sa Kongreso. Pwede naman pong baguhin ng Kongreso kung the next Congress will change it within 5 years. Maaari pong magbago. Again, it depends on the situation. I cannot say definitely that it will be 10 years, Madam Speaker. But kung ano lang po nakalagay dito ay 10 years, but it doesn't prevent the Congress to change any law or provision for that matter.
Kasi ang nakalagay po rito, 10 years from the creation, the Congressional Oversight Committee may choose to abolish the department, no? Should circumstances prove that there is no need for its existence. Yet, pero merong sunod na sentence, the relevance and practicality of maintaining the department shall be reviewed every 5 years after the 10-year mandatory review. So there's a mandatory 10 years, and after that, every 5 years. And every 5 years, and every 5 years. Tama po ba yun, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Tama po yun, Madam Speaker, dahil depende po yan sa pangangailangan ng ating mga Filipinos overseas.
Yes. So, very clear, hindi naman talaga to sunset provision. No? Dahil ad infinitum, it can be reviewed by Congress. No? Dahil pag hindi na solusyonan yung problema, review lang ng review ng review. No? Walang definite na after this period, tapos na. Tama po ba yun, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker? Madam Speaker. Expired na ako.
Majority Leader.
Tapos na ba ako? I'll just wind up, Madam Speaker.
Aye.
So, bilang siguro pagtatapos po ng aking interpellation, no, muli nire-reiterate ko yung nailatag na rin ng aking mga kasamahan dito. Ang pagtatatag ng isang bagong departamento will not actually solve the various problems being raised by our overseas Filipinos. No? Hindi ho mawawala yung cruelty ng mga employers abroad. No? Hindi ho mawawala yung pagsasamantala ng mga recruiters and other problems, no? Lalo-lalo na sa problema ng hanap buhay, no? Pagtatrabaho sa ibang bansa. At mas lalong hindi nito matutugunan yung kagustuhan ng ating mamamayan na sana ay manatili na lang ating mga kababayan, na manatili na lang sa ating bansa at dito maghanap buhay. Dahil sa katotohanan na inamin na rin ninyo at naipakita natin sa mga numero at statistika, wala hong ganong patakaran sa kasalukuyan na gagawa ng oportunidad na magkaroon ng pangmatagalan na hanap buhay dito sa ating bansa at makatanggap ng nakabubuhay na sahod ang ating mga kababayan. No? As I have mentioned earlier, with 81,000 average jobs creation in the last 3 years, that will not suffice. No? Millions ang walang trabaho natin. So, yun po ang aming matalas na pagpuna, no? At pagtutol sa naging tugon sa problema ng ating mga kababayan. Ang katugunan ay hindi nasasapol yung ugat. Bakit lumalabas ang ating mga kababayan at pumupunta sa ibang bansa para mabuhay kahit na sa mga lugar na conflicted areas, no? Hindi tinugunan yung kawalan ng oportunidad ng trabaho. Bagkus, ipinagpapatuloy ang patakaran ng mga nakaraang administrasyon, no? Just to export our labor dahil kailangan sila sa abroad at para mabuhay ang ating mga kababayan. At ang mahalaga, inamin nyo kanina, no, na para hindi na sila maging kargo, hindi na sila problema ng pamahalaan. Doon na kayo sa ibang bansa magtrabaho. That is the policy being laid down and being strengthened by this proposed bill, no, the creation of the Department of Foreign Filipinos and Overseas Employment. So with that, I will end my interpellation. Maraming salamat po sa oportunidad na makapagtalakayan sa ating kagalang-galang na sponsor. Maraming salamat, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we suspend consideration of House Bill 5989.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Deliberation for House Bill 5832 is now suspended.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Majority Leader.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to recognize the Honorable Minority Leader, Representative Bienvenido Abante.
Minority Leader Abante is now recognized.
Madam Speaker, Your Honors, I just would like to make a manifestation on my desire to be co-author of the following bills, Madam Speaker. House Bill number
5829, an act institutionalizing values education in the curriculum by incorporating good manners and right conduct as a subject in kindergarten up to the grade 1 grade level. And also House Bill number 5869, an act defining electronic violence against women and their children, providing protective measures and prescribing penalties for violations thereof, amending for that purpose Republic Act number 9262, otherwise known as the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004. Madam Speaker, thank you.
Noted. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that the Honorable Minority Leader be added as co-authors in the two bills mentioned.
Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we now proceed with the additional reference of business and request that the Secretary General read the title of the bill.
The Secretary General is requested to read the title of the resolution number 677.
Additional reference of business, resolution, House Resolution 677, resolution expressing the profound condolences to the House of Representatives to the family of Honorable Augusto Boboy Suhico, former representative of the 2nd Legislative District of Iloilo during the 11th, 12th, and 15th Congresses. Representative Cayetano, Alan Peter, Romualdez Ferdinand, and Abante.
To the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the consideration of House Resolution number 677 and request the Secretary General to read the title of the resolution.
Secretary General is requested to read the resolution.
House Resolution 677, resolution expressing the profound condolences of the House of Representatives to the family of Honorable Augusto Buboy Suhico, former representative of the 2nd Legislative District of Iloilo during the 11th, 12th, and 15th Congresses.
Madam Speaker, I move for the adoption of House Resolution number 677.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. House Resolution 677 is adopted. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move for the nomination of the following members to the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Congresswoman Shirley Tan Tambut. To the Committee on Trade and Industry, Congresswoman Shirley Tan Tambut. To the Committee on Economic Affairs, Congresswoman Shirley Tan Tambut. To the Committee on Transportation, Congresswoman Shirley Tan Tambut. To the Committee on Public Order and Safety, Congressman Bong Teves. And lastly, Madam Speaker, to the Committee on Games and Amusement, Congresswoman Lorna Quaresma.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. All those mentioned is now requested to be in the committees. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to suspend session.
Session suspended.
Sorry. Wala. Kinuha kasi yun dahil we greeted somebody else.
Yes, din siya kanina.
Mag-guess niya, tapos parang kinuha.
Take up.
Siri, ang kulit mo. Tapos, session na tayo.
Session resumed.
Madam Speaker, I move that we recognize the guests of the Deputy Speaker Aurelio Gonzalez and Representative Sarah Jane Elago. We have with us Agape Christian School teachers, Ms. Pamela Grace Punsalan, Ms. Kimberly Ginto, Ms. Alma San Mateo, Mr. John Clifford Sibayan, and from Calantas Elementary School, Mrs. Teresita Sibayan, Ms. Evelyn Lalas, Ms. Estrella Cura.
Guest of D.S. Gonzalez and Representative Ilago, please stand up. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to adjourn session until February 3, 2020 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Session is adjourned until Monday, February 3 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Yes. Sa'yo?
Sir.